manhunt is over, but the investigation continues. And more importantly, the process to healing begins.
As does the prosecution, with a court appearance in just over 2.5 hours. CBS News Special Report. I'm Peter King.
All right, your weather for today, partly cloudy, hot and humid. Afternoon highs around 88. We do have a chance of scattered showers and storms later today and this evening, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast. That comes your way at 12:05. Now the latest on the war between Israel and Iran. Iran has launched a new wave of retaliatory missile attacks on Israel, killing at least 8 people and wounding dozens more. One missile fell near the U.S. consulate in Tel Aviv, causing minor damage. Robert Berger monitoring the situation from Jerusalem.
Israel is used to the rockets that have been fired over the years from Hamas in Gaza, but those are rockets. We're talking now about ballistic missiles, some of which carry 2,000-pound warheads. A couple of people in Petah Tikva were killed in their bomb shelter. So overall, people in central Israel and in the areas that are being targeted, even in their shelters, may not feel really safe.
Now, be sure and stay with us for continuing live team coverage of the war between Israel and Iran. It is 12:02. A Gwinnett County jury has found a man guilty and sent him to prison for the rest of his life for killing a man execution style and leaving another victim blind. It happened back in 2020. According to police, 29-year-old Hakeem Sharif Williams was selling drugs to two men inside a Motel 6 in Norcross. He learned they had thousands of dollars in cash in a backpack and decided to rob them. During trial, prosecutors showed that police were able to identify Williams from face recognition software on his girlfriend's social media account. Again, he's been found guilty of malice murder, felony murder, armed robbery, and aggravated assault. He will spend the rest of his life behind bars. Soccer history being made today here in Atlanta as the city is hosting the first ever Club World Cup match on U.S. soil.
The UK's Chelsea FC faces LAFC from Los Angeles at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Atlanta is one of a dozen host cities, and we'll see a total of 6 matches between now and a quarterfinal game on July 5th. Other matches this week will be on Thursday and Sunday. MARTA says it will expand its service for the matches and run a shuttle between the World Congress Center and 5 Point stations.
And WSB's Judd Higginbotham says today's match will start at 3 o'clock this afternoon. A major airline saying that they're adding a new safety feature to the cockpits. Correspondent Peter King reports from Florida this morning.
A pilot's worst nightmare can be a warning like this.
Southwest 440 cancel takeoff clearance, hold in position.
That prevented a collision with a plane landing on the same runway. Now Southwest Airlines has added a text and voice cockpit warning system that can alert a pilot about to use the wrong runway or take off on a taxiway. That almost happened here in Orlando back in March.
And Southwest saying that the new system is now on nearly all of its 800 737s. In Fulton County, they're reporting a water outage that impacted about 200 businesses in the area around the Mansell Crossing Shopping Center in Alpharetta. No word on the source of the problem, but repairs are underway in the North Point Parkway corridor. They're asking for patience as crews work to repair the damage. And in Cobb County, you may run into some problems trying to pay your water bill there. There are reports of issues with the county's online and phone payment systems. Vendors working to resolve the issues as quickly as possible. Some customers have reported delays in receiving last month's bills as well. And in WSB News about your health, new research could lead to earlier detection of cancer. Scientists at Johns Hopkins University say that they've been able to detect genetic material shed by tumors in the bloodstream up to 3 years before a patient's cancer diagnosis. Now, researchers say that they were surprised by the results, but years would give doctors more time for intervention, and tumors would likely be more curable. So they hope to use this research to develop tests and procedures for follow-up when there is a positive result. Let's check your money. The Dow right now is up 343 points at 42,541. So the Dow's up almost a full percent. NASDAQ is up almost 1.5%. And the S&P's up almost a full percent here on your lunch hour. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Andrew Seco is joining us now from the WSB 24-hour Traffic Center with a look at your roads.
Watching a slowdown heading into the heart of Midtown. Got a crash. We're taking out the left lane, starting to jam you up. 85 southbound past Buford Highway, exit number 86. Those delays spilling you back onto 400 proper. About 10 extra minutes on your ride through the downtown connector. Elsewhere, got a stall blocking a center lane, west side of the perimeter here. 285 south around the outer loop, approaching Bolton Road, exit number 13. Delays backing you towards the Chattahoochee River, just outside South Cobb Drive. And the roadwork's still making it a little tough out of Stockbridge. We're blocking a right lane. Couple extra minutes of commute time. You are slowing and going here. 675 northbound, just north of Highway 23, exit number 2. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
All right, now your 5-day forecast sponsored by Shoemate, the official air conditioning of Atlanta.
Hot and humid through the afternoon, high 88. Partly cloudy with scattered storms late in the afternoon through the evening hours. Lows tonight in the low 70s. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms, high 87. Wednesday, partly cloudy, hot and humid, high 89. Thursday, a mix of sun and clouds, high near 90. And hot temperatures on Friday with highs in the low 90s.
We will have more news at 12:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Today on the Eric Erickson Show, he's a 40-year broadcaster, veteran, Marconi Award winner, and always in search of the perfect cup of coffee. Filling in for Eric today, Dan Mandis.
And appreciate you being here. As always, it is an honor to fill in. And you can follow me on the socials, X and Facebook, both at Dan Mandis Show. I host a morning show in Nashville, Tennessee on Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. And again, honored to fill in for Eric today. We do begin the broadcast, by the way, with some breaking news. I know that you've been following the battle between Iran and Israel. That does continue to escalate. However, Iran has now urgently signaled it is open to negotiations. Well, you don't say. This is a very big development. And one of the reasons why I think this is a big development, obviously, is because no one wants us to go to war with, along with Israel against Iran. I don't think anybody does. But this is what the president said just a few moments ago as he spoke to reporters regarding Iran wanting to get back to the negotiating table. Listen close.
Have you heard any signals or seen any messages from intermediaries that Iran wishes to de-escalate the conflict?
Yeah.
What have you heard? What have you heard from the Iranians?
They'd like to talk, but they should have done that before. I had 60 days, and they had 60 days, and on the 61st day, I said, we don't have a deal. They have to make a deal, and it's painful for both parties, but I'd say Iran is not winning this war.
No.
And they should talk, and they should talk immediately before it's too late.
So there's a lot going on with this. When Donald Trump is talking about negotiations in 60 days, he was negotiating with Iran. Now, nobody wants Iran to have nuclear weapons. Obviously not, except for maybe Iran. So Trump has been trying to work out a deal with the world's #1 nation for terrorism. And so just to let you know where I stand up front on this, I am a Donald Trump supporter, but I also get frustrated at times when the president does things that I don't believe is in the best interest of America. First of all, just again, to tell you where I stand on this, I don't believe, as a Donald Trump supporter, I don't believe that it is smart for us to be negotiating with Iran. Bottom line is, why is that? It's because we cannot trust them. And so to me, while the president, and what do conservatives always say? Conservatives always say, never negotiate with terrorists. That's what Iran, the nation of Iran, is. They're just a bunch of terrorists. And so the president deciding to negotiate with them as opposed to destroying their economy, which is exactly what he did in the first administration. I just had to get that off my chest. Now, the reason why Iran is urgently signaling that they want to reopen negotiations is because they are getting obliterated. But also part of this, you have to look at this from the mind game. Because here's what's been going on. Donald Trump, throughout the day today, and this really started happening over the weekend, President Trump said, as all of this bombing was going on back and forth, and Iran was indeed getting obliterated, one of the things that Trump said is, we might get involved in this. Now, whether or not the president actually wanted to be involved, or if he was just playing mind games with Iran. So now they're sitting here and they're getting their you-know-what kicked by Israel and all of these bombs dropping, and their nuclear, like 9 or 10 out of their nuclear scientists are now dead. Their generals dead. Their infrastructure obliterated. Yeah, I bet Iran wants to come back to the table. And all of this, I think, is by design. I don't necessarily believe that Donald Trump ever really thought that he wanted to join Israel and go to war against Iran. I don't believe that he did. I think that he said that he did to scare the living crap out of Iran, to force them back to the negotiating table, because that is what Donald Trump has wanted since day one. Because he's trying to work out a deal. He does not want them to have, he's been very consistent, Trump does not want them to have a nuclear weapon. Neither does Israel, obviously. But that doesn't take away from the fact that, again, they are the world's #1 sponsor of terrorism. By the way, earlier in the day, the Daily Mail has been reporting that Pakistan has been threatening to nuke Israel if Israel drops a nuclear weapon on Iran. That is according to Iranian officials, so, take that for what it's worth. But Donald Trump has also been saying, if there is any attack on American interests, that we will respond like Iran has never seen before. Well, in case you don't know, our embassy was damaged last night in Tel Aviv. Minor damage, but still. And from what I can tell, Mike Huckabee is okay. But word over the weekend, and I thought this has been a fascinating conversation, word over the weekend was that Israel went to Donald Trump. They said, we have an opportunity to take out Iran's supreme leader, but they wouldn't do it without Donald Trump's permission. And Donald Trump vetoed the idea, saying that they had not taken out any of our leaders, so we would not be doing the same. But Trump has been saying, because remember, people always say, while everybody else is playing checkers, Donald Trump is playing 3D chess or whatever it is. Well, this might be an example of that. Over the weekend on Sunday, Donald Trump revealed that negotiations to end the war between Israel and Iran were underway, promising that a peace deal is coming soon. Now, I don't know if that is ultimately what is going to happen, but leading off the program, Dan Mandison for Eric Erickson, leading off the program, we have Donald Trump talking about how Iran needs to come back to the table, and they better do it before it's too late. So this is going to be one of those mornings, I should say, one of these days where you're going to see news breaking probably every 30 minutes or so. By the way, some other things related to the battle between Iran and Israel. One of the things that they've been saying is that they would actually make life a lot harder for not only America but the world, because they've been threatening to close the Strait of Hormuz, which, in case you don't know, handles a ton of trade, including 20% of the world's oil flow flows through this area. And so if they decided to try to do that, that could really seriously impact oil prices. Now, all of this comes on the big interview, Bret Baier, on Sunday with Benjamin Netanyahu. And one of the first questions, I think it was actually the first question that Netanyahu was asked is, why exactly is it that you attacked Iran in the first place?
Because we were facing an imminent threat, a dual existential threat. One, the threat of Iran rushing to weaponize their enriched uranium to make atomic bombs with a specific and declared intent to destroy us. Second, a rush to increase their ballistic missile arsenal into the capacity that they would have 3,600 weapons a year, new weapons within 3 years, 10,000 ballistic missiles, each one weighing a ton, coming in at Mach 6, right into our cities, as you saw today. And then in 6 years, 20,000. That's no country can sustain that, and certainly not a country the size of Israel. So we had to act. It was the 12th hour. We did act.
Yep, and this is something that Iran has never wavered. They have never wavered from their opinion that Israel has no right to exist. And so part of the dynamic here, I mean, you have to acknowledge, even if you're a supporter of Iran, you have to admit that they've been saying that Israel has no right to exist for a long time. And while they will sit here and tell you straight up to your face, oh, we don't have any real nuclear ambitions? The reality is that they do. And every expert on the Middle East will tell you that. And so Israel will call this whole thing preemptive. And by the way, one of the things, as you look at Benjamin Netanyahu and how he is responding to all of this, is that on October 7th, that horrible attack where Hamas goes into Israel, kills over 1,200 people. A lot of people said that Benjamin Netanyahu was caught napping. And so I think part of the dynamic here is he is now doing this preemptively because he doesn't want to be caught napping again. He sees what Iran is saying. He sees what Iran has. And he has got to do something to make sure that they don't escalate to a nuclear weapon. Oh, and by the way, I'll say it for all of us. They're always threatening, but they're also always funding terrorism. As you no doubt know. Iran funded Hamas. As a matter of fact, their Revolutionary Guard helped to train Hamas as well for those horrible attacks on October 7th. So Netanyahu, he is factually correct here. They were working on nuclear weapons. They said they wanted to destroy Israel. In the mind of Israel, Iran had a gun pointed at their head, and they felt like they had to act. Now, one thing that Bret Baier asked Netanyahu was about the intel, about the nuclear weapons. Now, he brought up this moment of testimony from Tulsi Gabbard a few months ago. A little bit of context. This was DNI, Tulsi Gabbard, and she was talking about Iran and their quest for a nuclear weapon.
The IC continues to assess that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, and Supreme Leader Khamenei has not authorized the nuclear weapons program that he suspended in 2003.
All right, so the official U.S. position has been that Iran has shelved their plans to build nuclear weapons. That's what he says. That's what she says, Tulsi Gabbard. And so Bret Baier said, okay, so were we wrong? Was the U.S. intel, the community, were they wrong about where Iran was on their quest to build nuclear weapons?
Was the U.S. intel wrong?
The intel we got and we shared with the United States was absolutely clear. Was absolutely clear that they were working in a secret plan to weaponize the uranium. They were marching very quickly. They would achieve a test device and possibly an initial device within months and certainly less than a year. That was the intel we shared with the United States. I think we have excellent intel in Iran. I think we've proven that. And that is something that we couldn't possibly accept. Whether it would be 6 months or 12 months or 13 months is immaterial. Once they go that route, it's too late.
Well, he's right. And you know the thing about Iran is that they're very secretive, and you can't trust them. Right before Israel attacked these guys, the United Nations nuclear watchdog said that Iran was not complying with its nuclear obligations. And Iran said that they would open up a new nuclear enrichment plant. That is a big middle finger to not only Israel, but America as well. Certainly Donald Trump, who was trying to negotiate a deal to stop their nuclear ambitions.
We decided to act because we saw enough uranium, enriched uranium, for 9 bombs. And all they had to do was weaponize them. We stopped that. We're attacking their nuclear sites. We attacked their chief nuclear scientists working. It's like Hitler's nuclear scientists. Would you leave them? Of course not. They're a terrorist regime. We can't have Iran have nuclear weapons. And by the way, our intel shows that they intend to give these nuclear weapons to their Houthi proxies and others.
Yep.
And that's nuclear terrorism on a global scale. It threatens everyone. And the last thing is they have plans to develop intercontinental ballistic missiles. Right now, 8,000 kilometers, very soon, just out a little distance, and they can reach the eastern seaboard of the United States. Do you want these people to have nuclear weapons and the means to deliver them to your cities? Of course not. Yeah. So we're defending ourselves, but we're also defending the world.
Yeah, and all of that makes sense. And by the way, as you may or may not know, Benjamin Netanyahu also accuses Iran of trying to assassinate President Trump twice through their proxies. So we'll continue to follow this story. My name is Dan Mandis, in for Eric Erickson. You can follow me on the socials, on X and on Facebook as well. All at Dan Mandis Show will return next right here on the Eric Erickson Show.
Old Glory Bank is my bank, and they can be your bank. They're a bank founded by guys, you know the names, Larry Elder, Ben Carson, John Rich, Mary Fallon. Those of you in Oklahoma, that was your former governor. They got together and they realized there's a debanking trend happening in the country where progressives are trying to use their leverage as shareholders of major banks to punish conservatives. And they said, we need a bank that protects conservatives. And they started Old Glory Bank. They now have people working with Old Glory Bank across the country. They'd love to have your business. They got my business 2 years ago. I've never looked back. Go to oldglorybank.com. oldglorybank.com/Eric. Actually, go to oldglorybank.com/Eric. Sorry, they just set up this personal URL for me. I want all of you to go to oldglorybank.com/Eric so you can see it for yourself. You fill out the account online, takes less than 8 minutes. That's how I did it. That's how you can do it. Old Glory Bank really is my bank. oldglorybank.com/Eric. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Terms and conditions apply.
Follow Eric on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Search EW Erickson.
1221 in the Cool Ray Carrier Traffic Center. Watching a stall clear to the shoulder on the jam cam as we speak. 285 South, the outer loop at Bolton Road, exit number 13. Very quick closure of all lanes. This will not take very long. So just be sure to pack your patience on your way down towards I-20. We are looking at a crash in the left lane as you head closer to the heart of Midtown. 85 South past Buford Highway, exit 86. Delays backing you to 400 and 85 proper. And a little bit of a tap of the brakes through Norcross. Going to pour through some jam cams. See what's holding you up. Got something 85 South slowing you down as you approach Jimmy Carter Boulevard, exit 99. This sports sponsored by Echo Park Speedway. Experience the Quaker State 400. Available at Walmart Saturday, June 28th. Under the lights in Atlanta. Get your tickets now at EchoParkSpeedway.com. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
When news breaks.
Riot gear-clad police used tear gas to get the protesters off the street at Chamblee Tucker Road.
We've got it covered. A man posing as a law enforcement officer shoots 2 Minnesota elected officials.
With news at the top and bottom of every hour and when it breaks.
Tune in often for the latest.
The Israel-Iran conflict is intensifying with both sides trading strikes on Sunday.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's breaking news station.
Is your old garage door a real clunker? Overhead Door Company of Atlanta is paying cash for your clunkers now. They'll haul away your old garage door and give you instant credit towards the new insulated doors. $200 for the first garage door and $100 for each additional door. Get $200 cash for your old entry door, too. It's cashed for clunkers now at Overhead Door Company of Atlanta. Convenient, free, in-home estimates. Schedule online at overheaddooratlanta.com or call 404-USA Door.
For many women in our community, support for our physical and mental health feels out of reach.
When your workday is long.
And your budget is tight.
And your village is busy.
And the road between home and help is a 6-lane highway with no crosswalk.
Northside Hospital believes women deserve better.
Northside is rolling up our sleeves and getting to work.
We got your house call.
Heard.
Learn more at northside.com/heard.
Hey homeowners, it's Eric Erickson here. Do your windows and doors stick? Are you noticing cracks in the drywall or the brickwork? You might have a big problem. Serious issues need the serious experts at Engineered Solutions of Georgia. Their skills are unmatched, as are their foundation solutions. When these guys repair a problem, it's the last time you'll have to worry about it. Done once, done right. Start today with a free inspection. Go to ESOGrepair.com. That's ESOGrepair.com.
Dial 678 ESOG now.
Courage is strength of heart to face challenges. I want to encourage you today for what you're facing. Ultimately, God and His work in and through my life is the only source of strength I've discovered that has been enough to carry me through the tests of building a rewarding marriage, raising 3 children, and even losing a child. Take heart. With God, nothing we're facing is too much to handle. This is Tom Gray, and This Stuff Matters.
ThisStuffMatters.net.
Hey everyone, it's your buddy Shelley Winter here. Join me this Saturday at noon for The Car Guys with Kevin Deutsch from Butler Lexus of South Atlanta. Buy or lease, fix or sell, everything you want to know about cars, we will cover Saturday noon to 1 right here on 95.5 WSB.
If you're seeing cracks in the walls upstairs, downstairs, or outside, maybe even a door not closing, call the Foundation Repair Specialist. Hi, it's Mark Beckham here with Atlanta Ramjack, and we are your leading foundation repair experts. Set up your free estimate right now at atlantaramjack.com.
This is Scott Slade, updating my health story. I get a checkup every year, and last September, my primary care physician was troubled by a suspicious number on my lab work. Well, that led to a diagnosis early enough to give me options, and I'm more optimistic than ever about a good outcome. Now, when we're talking about our health, level with your providers if you think you have a problem. We all need expert eyes looking us over every so often. That's where virtual imaging can be invaluable. Virtual Imaging's LDCT body scan can give you time and options for early treatment, especially for cancer. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. For a limited time, Virtual Imaging is extending their core body scan offer for only $995 per scan. That's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response, they've opened up more times in both offices. But appointments will fill up fast for this offer, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com. That's virtualimagingatl.com. Do it now, while you still have options.
Taking the complicated and making it simple. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Dan Mandis here, in for Eric Erickson. You can follow me on the socials on X and Facebook at Dan Mandis Show. So last night you had this interview, Bret Baier and Benjamin Netanyahu, and the Israeli leader said, Iran has tried to assassinate Donald Trump not once, but twice.
Do you have intel that the assassination attempts on President Trump were directly from Iran?
Through proxies, yes. Through their intel, yes. They want to kill him. Look, he's enemy number one. He's a decisive leader. He never took the path that others took to try to bargain with him in a way that is weak, giving them basically a pathway to enrich uranium, which means a pathway to the bomb, padding it with billions and billions of dollars. He took up this fake agreement and basically tore it up. He killed Qasem Soleimani. He said, made it very clear, including now, you cannot have a nuclear weapon, which means you cannot enrich. He's been very forceful. So for them, he's enemy number one.
Yeah.
Look, they also tried to kill me, but I'm his junior partner.
When did
they
you
understand that President Trump is a great threat to Iran's plans to weaponize nuclear weapons and use them.
You know, here's the thing, and I am a supporter of Israel. I'm a supporter of Israel, very much so. But if you are going to, if you're Benjamin Netanyahu, and you're going to come out and say that through their allies or whatever, their proxies, that Iran tried to assassinate Donald Trump twice, you better bring receipts. Because obviously that is a very serious accusation. By the way, it wouldn't surprise me in the least. I mean, Iran has had it out for Donald Trump for years, as you no doubt know. But for the storyline, as this continues to unfold this afternoon, you do have Donald Trump, and he has been asked now, does it look like Iran is coming back to the table? They're asking to come back to the table. The reason why they're wanting to come back to the table is because Israel has taken out most of their nuclear scientists. They have kneecapped their arsenal of airplanes and nuclear facilities as well. And now Israel has said that they are focused on their nuclear and military sites and personnel. Iran, by the way, no shocker here, has been targeting civilian areas, as a matter of fact. Got a lot more straight ahead on the Eric Erickson Show.
More local news.
Atlanta's airport's bracing for record-breaking crowds. Apparent murder in the Grant Park area.
More traffic.
A crash in the Cobb Cloverleaf.
One crash on I-20 westbound.
You're on and off the brakes beginning at University.
More weather.
Looking at rotation that is near the city of Brooks, thunderstorm is capable of producing a quick spin-up tornado.
Atlanta's morning news.
Governor Kemp reacting to that tariff pause.
Tomorrow morning at 5.
Wake up with 95.5 WSB. How Atlanta starts its day. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. And now let's go to Minnesota. The suspect in the shootings of Democratic state lawmakers and their spouses over the weekend, Vance Bolter, facing 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of attempted murder. Investigators found a list of about 70 names in the car that he used, including state and federal lawmakers, community leaders, and abortion rights activists and health care facilities. Bolter's accused of posing as a police officer and fatally shooting former Democratic House Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark. And we have just now learned prosecutors say that he went to 4 homes as he sought to kill lawmakers, but some were not home. Also just in, the Justice Department now saying that they're going to charge him with federal murder stalking charges. So he's now going to be facing federal charges and stalking charges. All right, your weather for today. Partly cloudy, hot and humid. Afternoon highs around 88. A few scattered showers and storms are possible this afternoon, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. President Trump says that Iran wants to talk about a de-escalation with Israel. Speaking at the G7 summit in Canada, Mr. Trump said he gave Iran a 60-day window to bargain with the U.S. over their nuclear capabilities, and Israel attacked on the day after that deadline expired.
They'd like to talk, but they should have done that before.
Now, he says he has heard, though, that Iran is interested in pulling back aggressions. The president said he thinks that Iran wants to talk because Israel is doing, quote, so well right now. And this is new this half hour. If you've ever hit a pothole, you may like this. Groundbreaking on a multi-million-dollar repaving project in southwest Atlanta. The Fairburn Road Complete Street project aimed at improving road conditions on the busy corridor. Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens.
This is a big step forward for this community and for all of Atlanta.
And the price tag on this project, approximately $33.2 million. It's 12:32.
It's Eric here, and with the election ended, there is change in the air. A new day dawns for American businesses. New regulations, new deregulation, new tax plan, new tax cuts. You may be smelling opportunity in the air. You may be seeing opportunity. Now is the time to consider reaching out to First Liberty Building and Loan and see if they might be able to help you put your plan that's in your head down to paper and see if they can help you capitalize on it. There are so many opportunities out there. If you need to borrow $750,000 or more, well, First Liberty might be able to help you. They make their own lending decisions. They've been doing it since the 90s. They know how to do it, and because the Frost family's been helping businesses since the 90s, they're still going to be there. You're not going to have lender rollover like you've had at other places. Reach out to them, FirstLibertyGA.com. FirstLibertyGA.com. Spend 10 minutes with them, see if you're a fit for them and them for you. FirstLibertyGA.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
A great way to add value to your home is to improve and upgrade your kitchen, but you're worried about the cost because of tariffs raising everybody's costs on things like this. Y'all, it's Eric. You can go to Frugal Kitchens. You'll get that $1 million look for well under that price. And right now, if you book an appointment, you'll get the Frugal Price Lock, where they will lock in pre-tariff pricing. Google Frugal Kitchens today. Lock in pre-tariff pricing on your redesign of your kitchen. Google Frugal Kitchens.
The American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Oh, okay. Traffic, how are we looking on the roads?
Moving fine for the most part. Do have a couple impact spots.
285 southbound, the outer loop, that did just clear. Bolton Road, exit number 13 delay starting to pick back up through here. We do have that left lane crash as you head into Midtown, though. 85 southbound. Be prepared to have a tap of the brakes before you merge right there just past Buford Highway, exit number 86. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Epwards. Partly cloudy, hot and humid today, high 88. Scattered thunderstorms late in the afternoon through the evening hours.
All right, we'll have more news at 1 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
The last couple of days. And on Friday, we have a very small but very loud contingent of progressives in Nashville, Tennessee. Now, Tennessee itself is, as you can imagine, you probably know, very red. But like a lot of these cities and a lot of these states, we also have very small enclaves of, Democrats and liberals and progressives, and they were out in force on Friday. So I want to talk a little bit about this because I think what happened on Friday in what I am calling the Kilmar Abrego Garcia Appreciation Day here in Nashville, Tennessee. As you may or may not know, he is back in Tennessee. Several years ago, he was stopped as he was sneaking in, trafficking illegal aliens, and he was caught in the state of Tennessee. The Highway Patrol called up Joe Biden's FBI, and they said, we have this guy, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, and we've stopped him. He's got a bunch of guys in this car, and he's driving erratically, and nobody speaks English, and all they've got is toothbrushes and no luggage. And so, as folks know, they ascertained that he was clearly human trafficking, but the Biden FBI, the Biden administration said, just let him go. And they did. And so then, of course, as you know the story, Abrego Garcia was deported to El Salvador, one lawsuit after another, and Donald Trump basically was forced to bring him back to America, eventually landing in Nashville, Tennessee, where he was arraigned on Friday. He's pled not guilty. We'll get into all of that. But let me get through some of what happened on Friday. Because we had a lot of these leftists, and they're out there, and they've got their signs, and they've got their little chants, and, everything else. And I would say in a state where we have millions of people, and in a city where there are hundreds of thousands of people at the very least, there are about 250 people out there. And I will call them the Great Unwashed because it was hot and they really didn't smell very good. But I want to play you a couple of pieces of audio of what people were saying because they don't make any sense. And that's part of where I'm going to go with all of this. And I'm calling it, I'm calling part of what happened on Friday, it's really kind of senseless. Because they're really just like on Saturday with the No Kings protests across the country. It's almost like to what end? Like what exactly is it that you're trying to say? Well, here's what one protester had to say. Listen to this.
No one is free until everyone is free.
No one is free until everyone is free. Now, I spent an entire weekend trying to figure out exactly what that meant. I'm going to play it one more time.
No one is free until everyone is free.
So can I ask a question? Does that mean that no one is free until the child molesters and the murderers and the human traffickers are free? Is that what she meant? But then when we asked her for a follow-up, she said, nope, don't want to be on camera. Nope, don't want to say anymore. And off she went. And so I started calling it on Friday in Nashville. I started calling it Kilmar Abrego Garcia's Appreciation Day, courtesy of the left. Because they were celebrating and they were demanding his release. And so part of what's kind of funny about this whole thing is that as I spoke to one person after another, they didn't want to go on camera. They didn't want to say anything into the microphone. They didn't want to be recorded. All they wanted to do is just carry their little signs. And so when you start talking about the No Kings protests or the rallies, or you want to talk about what happened in Nashville on Friday as he was being arraigned, you have to ask the question, to what end? What is it you're wanting? What is it you're demanding?
No one is free until everyone is free.
Okay, well, that doesn't make any sense. So why don't you come up with something else? Now, Justin Jones, you may have heard of Justin Jones. He is a Tennessee state representative, and he was there, of course, and he is somebody, to Justin Jones and everybody most people in Nashville, unless they are followers of old Justin Jones, this Tennessee state representative, this is a guy who everything is racist. And he considers himself, I believe, sort of like a junior MLK, right? This kind of guy. He's always talking like a preacher. He's probably about, 30, 31, 32. But he's always accusing the state legislature of being a bunch of racists and so forth. And so he had the play-by-play. And as he was, talking about Kilmar Abrego Garcia and everything that was going on, he had this to say about the fact that he had to be brought back by the Trump administration. I want you to listen.
The Trump administration responded by filing criminal charges against him, a man, a father who has never been convicted of a crime or even a misdemeanor, drumming up these politicized charges to characterize him as dangerous.
All right, so this is typical talking point. And again, I noticed this during the No Kings protests and also on Friday when I was out there for the Kilmar Abrego Garcia arraignment protests or rallies or whatever it is you want to call it. It's a typical talking point, a typical social media post by Justin Jones and people like him. So let's go through this. The soundbite that I just played, Justin Jones calls him a man. Well, that is correct. A father. Well, that is correct. But neither of these two descriptors actually mean anything. Men and fathers do bad stuff. But let me ask you this question. What kind of man beats up his wife?
I have pictures of the evidence, like all the bruises. He hit me around 3 in the morning. He would just wake up and hit me. Before I went to my daughter's birthday party, he slapped me 3 times because he hit me in front of my sister.
Yeah, that is, of course, the wife of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who has accused him many times of abuse, many times of beating her up. Now, you'll notice that the left, as they like to talk about how great of a man, this Maryland man, right? Kilmar Abrego Garcia, this Maryland man, he's a father, he's a husband, he's just a great American. Well, he's not, because he beats his wife. He's also, by the way, one of the things that I noted from old Justin Jones, though, is that he didn't mention what the grand jury said. It's not like Donald Trump, because they think that he's a king. It's not like Donald Trump just came from the mountaintop and ordered Kilmar Abrego Garcia into court. No, there was a grand jury. Conspiracy to transport undocumented migrants, transporting gang members, MS-13 gang affiliation, smuggling of firearms, money laundering, all of that. And Attorney General Pam Bondi also accusing him of soliciting nude images from minors. She also accused him of being involved in the murder of a rival gang member's mother. And so when you hear people on the left and they say things like,
no one is free until everyone is free.
Like, no one is free until everyone is free. Do you mean a guy who is being accused of such heinous things, not only by the authorities, but also by his wife? So the more that these leftists in Nashville, and of course across the country too, the more that they continue to go down this road, the more ridiculous they feel or they sound. And so Justin Jones, of course, he's like all these leftists, where they simply like to do what? What do they like to do? Leftists? Anyone? They like to just spew talking points. They don't like to go into anything of real substance. One of the things that I love that Eric says, he talks about having nuanced conversations, getting into the granular, because you know what? The granular actually means things. And so when Justin Jones is out there saying, and Democrats are saying as it relates to Kilmar Abrego Garcia, oh, this is just a weaponized justice system. Is it? Because I just told you all of the things that this guy has been accused of. It's Justin Jones. And this is like very typical of what the Democrats do. And it's so infuriating because if you know the truth, and this is where you being educated and you paying attention to the news really comes in handy. And you listen to Eric, so I know that you know what's going on with this case. The left doesn't like to tell you. All they'll tell you is, oh, he's a Maryland man. He's a father. He's a husband. You know, all of these things, and that's basically the talking point that they'll stick to. And they'll leave out the part where his own wife accused him of beatdowns. But they don't want to talk about that, do they? Of course they don't. They don't want to talk about transporting gang members, his own gang affiliation. No. Here's more.
Drumming up these politicized charges to characterize him as dangerous, which, as the defense attorney said, should be viewed through the lens of skepticism and suspicion. The cooperating witnesses they brought are coincidentally being offered deals in exchange for their testimony. They have conflicting testimony. We know that this is an attempt to smear him, to attack him, because it's a distraction from the crime that this U.S. government committed under the Trump administration, violating his due process, and subjecting him to cruel and unusual punishment in a foreign prison. We know that this trial is a politicized trial, and it's the weaponization of the government against one man.
You know, it's kind of funny with Justin Jones, and again, he is a state representative from Nashville, and he likes to just rapid-fire talking points. They love him on MSNBC, as you can imagine. And he says that the Trump administration is trying to smear this guy. Can I ask a question for anyone who thinks like Justin Jones? All we're doing is speaking facts. I mean, it wasn't Trump. It was a grand jury that said that he conspired to transport undocumented migrants. It was a grand jury that said that he was transporting gang members. It was a grand jury that spoke about his MS-13 gang affiliation. It's a grand jury that spoke about smuggling of firearms and money laundering and all of that. By the way, did you see this headline? Oh, this is so funny. The wife of Kilmar Abrego Garcia missed her son's graduation, his kindergarten graduation, to be in Tennessee for the arraignment on Friday. The story reads this, because again, remember, the media, whatever side Donald Trump is on, the media is going to be, by and large, for the most part, on the other side. The wife of Kilmar Abrego Garcia says she had to miss her son's kindergarten graduation for her husband's arraignment on human smuggling charges at a federal court in Nashville on Friday. Due to the arraignment, Abrego Garcia pleaded not guilty to the human smuggling charges. Before the arraignment, protests and counter-protests were held in Nashville. Abrego Garcia's wife participated in the demonstration, and she spoke. This is the quote. Our family should never have been in this situation. I would actually agree. She says, our family should never have been in this situation, she says. We should be with our children. I'm here in Tennessee, but my heart is in Maryland with my kids. Our son, Kilmar Jr., is right now in his kindergarten graduation. That is going on right now. And instead, she says, my son is alone on his big day. Well, you know what I would say to the wife of Kilmar Abrego Garcia? That's a you problem. That was your decision to do that. That was your decision. And there does seem to be this effort to make her a sympathetic figure, but she's not a sympathetic figure. I mean, I don't mean to belabor the point.
I have pictures of the evidence, like all the bruises. He hit me like around 3 in the morning. He would just wake up and hit me. Before I went to my daughter's birthday party, he slammed me 3 times because he hit me in front of my sister.
I mean, literally, you stayed with a guy who beat you up. And then you went out to the Friday protest or rally, and you continue to speak about how great of a guy your husband is. And you know what? Here's the deal. All marriages have problems, and I totally understand that. I totally get it. But when Fox News and the Daily Mail and CNN, and yes, even CNN, all of these other outlets reported on what she told a judge years ago, but nobody on that side, if you will, wants to bring it up. I do believe, as a matter of fact, that those are important things to bring up. not because I'm giddy at the fact that she was the victim of a beatdown, but because she and the left are trying to paint him as just this, air quoting, Maryland man, as opposed to what he truly is. And so the more that we see these No Kings protests over the weekend, the more I kept asking myself, to what end? You know, what is the call? What is the call of action, the call for action? What are you asking people to do? And nobody really seemed to have any kind of an action plan. It was just, these really silly comments like,
no one is free until everyone is free.
Like, no one is free until everyone is free. Makes all the sense in the world, says no one who has a rational line of thinking. My name is Dan Mandis, in for Eric Erickson. Follow me on the socials, X and Facebook, at Dan Mandis Show. We'll return next.
The Republicans are gearing up to make the last-minute push for the president's tax plan, and they want to get you engaged in helping them get it across the finish line. And Americans for Prosperity is making it really easy. If you go to protectprosperity.com, you'll be able to sign up and get heard by your members of Congress, particularly your senators right now. And they need to hear from you in all 50 states. And it doesn't matter if your senators are Democrat or not. They do pay attention. They keep track of who's calling on what issue and their stance. And so if you call your senators, even if they're Democrats, and say, you support common sense conservative reforms, you support, for example, the president's tax plan, they may not vote for it, but they know there's a massive constituency movement for it. And they may behind the scenes grease the skids to get it passed, even if they decide not to vote for it. But you need to call. You need to take action. You need to go to protectprosperity.com today. You need to get involved with Americans for Prosperity. Protectprosperity.com. Go there today.
When the truth seems hazy, Eric will clear the way. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
12:52 in the Cool Ray Carrier Traffic Center. Monday movement looking just fine. Got lighter than normal volume in and around the metro. We did have that crash clear 85 south of Beaufort Highway, exit number 86. Brake lights thinning out as we speak, and some volume in the downtown connector 75, 85 north and south. Jammed a little bit northbound from University Avenue up to Freedom Parkway southbound. Those earlier delays spilling onto the downtown connector, jamming you up towards I-20. This report sponsored by the International Hot Rod Association. Nitro's back. The IHRA Outlaw Nitro Series is lighting up the track. Nitro Nation, grab your tickets now at IHRA.com. IHRA.com. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
If it's happening on the streets of Atlanta.
The Cobb County Medical Examiner's Office identifies 57 sets of cremains.
If it's happening on the roads leading to Atlanta.
Massive project at 285 and Georgia 400 has been a big improvement.
We've got it covered.
Atlanta jurors convict a former Customs and Border Protection officer.
Your 24/7 news source.
Covering the stories that impact you.
Tune in throughout the day to stay up to date.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
Going back to college, I have sent my father Omaha steaks for Father's Day because who doesn't love steak? Dads love steak. A recent survey showed 75% of Americans agree there's no better way than to spend Father's Day than grilling with the family. Dads love to grill. I remember great memories as a kid of my dad grilling. Now I do. And I get him Omaha Steaks, and you can too. Shop omahasteaks.com and give your dad the legendary Heartland quality he deserves. Plus, my listeners get an extra $35 off when you put Eric in, E-R-I-C-K, as your promo code at checkout. Unbelievable quality from Omaha Steaks. I am a longtime gift giver of Omaha Steaks. My dad loves Omaha Steaks. Your dad will too. Go to omahasteaks.com, load up your cart with deliciousness, get $35 off, minimum order required, when you use promo code Eric at checkout. That's omahasteaks.com. You'll get an extra $35 off with promo code Eric at checkout. Your dad will love you for it.
Hi, this is Candace from Exovations, and have I got a tip for you. But today, instead of giving you a home remodeling tip, my tip is don't just take my word for it. For over 20 years, you've heard me on the radio sharing remodeling advice. But if you really want to know what sets Exovations apart, go read our reviews. At exovations.com, you'll find hundreds of real stories from real homeowners who have trusted us with their exterior remodeling projects. From decks, siding, windows, doors, paint, roofing, porticos, and so much more. You'll see words like amazing work, incredible experience from start to finish, and again, stress-free. that's not just what we say, it's what our customers say. So yes, I'm Candace from Exovations, but don't just listen to me. Listen to our reviews. At Exovations, we do projects on time, on budget, and without all that stress. Google Exovations or visit exovations.com.
Save money by getting pre-approved for your next auto loan at Coosa Valley Credit Union. We offer the most competitive interest rates in the market, as low as 3.49 APR when you open an account with direct deposit. This is Andy Harris, president of Coosa Valley Credit Union, inviting you to stop in a branch near you. You'll experience kinder banking with real people, not automation. Plus, with 11 locations in Northwest Georgia, we're always local and nearby.
Contact 706-235-8551 for more details. Equal Opportunity Lender.
Hey, it's Scott Slade for FGA Roofing. If your home's exterior could use an updated look, or maybe one of your neighbor's designer roofs has caught your eye, and your current roof has started to show its age, then now's the perfect time to check out FGA Roofing for the latest in architectural shingles, timberland shingles, and more. Slate, tile, wood shake, cedar roofs, FGA has them all. FGA Roofing offers 0% financing for 12 months with your good credit. Get the roof you want now and pay over time. Click firstgaroof.com. That's firstgaroof.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Join Eric's Army of Activists. Text ARMY to 33777 now.
My name is Dan Mandis, in for Eric Erickson. Always appreciate the opportunity. You can follow me on the socials, on X and Facebook, and the others at Dan Mandis Show. I host a morning show in Nashville, Tennessee on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Do you know what I absolutely loved about the No Kings protests? Is that you have so many people who are showing such hatred for President Trump when in reality, at least to me, is a guy who loves America. He's not always going to be right. Do you know what the highlight of the big Army's 250th birthday celebration was that happened to fall on the president's birthday? But do you know what I really liked about that moment and about that parade and about that show of strength? And about the appreciation for what our military has done for not only our country, but for the entire world, was the fact that the Donald Trump himself swore in a group of new and re-enlisting U.S. Army troops during the military parade. And it was really cool. And the reason why I thought it was so amazing is because he is showing such great honor and respect to our military. And when you look at the amount of nastiness, when you look at the amount of criticism, when you look at the amount of cynicism that folks on the left show our military, and then you see the President of the United States showing such love, honor, and respect, it's a great thing to see. And so the thing that I loved about the big military celebration, to be perfectly honest, it was just the fact that it was a celebration honoring America's history, militarily and otherwise. My name is Dan Mandis, for Eric.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. If you're over 50 and tired of your wireless bill getting higher and higher, there are 4 things to consider. 1, how much data are you really using? As we get older, we use less data on our wireless phone, but you're probably still paying for an unlimited plan that was designed for 20-somethings. 2, if you see "Get a phone on us," get your sneakers out and run the other way. No one is giving you a free phone. You are paying for that phone over time with an overpriced rate plan and a long-term commitment. 3, check the fine print on that $15 a month plan. It's probably an intro price that'll double or triple later. You might even have to pay for several months of service up front. Number 4, be aware of cable company wireless plans. Most of your usage will be on Wi-Fi instead of 5G, and your calls and battery life could suffer. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable, nationwide service without the big wireless bill. Our plans start at just $20 a month.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
I'm Chris Chandler. When you join us Tuesday starting at 5 for Atlanta's Morning News, the military part of the Israel-Iran story in depth with a retired Vice Admiral on WSB.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there, good afternoon. It is 1 o'clock. I'm Sabrina Cupid. We have breaking new developments in the charges against the man accused of killing a state lawmaker and her husband over the weekend.
CBS News special report. The Justice Department has just charged the man suspected of shooting 2 Minnesota lawmakers with federal murder, as state officials build their case against Vance Belter, the man accused of killing a state lawmaker and her husband.
We have filed charges. As you know, we intend to seek first-degree murder charges here. The penalty for that would be life without parole.
Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty says Belter will also face 2 counts of attempted murder in connection with the separate attack on another lawmaker.
As our community grieves, I encourage those out there seeking to create additional chaos to stop spreading misinformation and conspiracy theories.
And a prosecutor says the accused went to 4 homes as he sought to kill lawmakers on Saturday, but some were not home. He is due to appear in court this afternoon. CBS News special report. I'm Steve Kathan.
All right, partly cloudy and humid today. Afternoon highs around 88 with scattered showers and storms likely this evening, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. 2 people arrested now in connection with the shooting of a 6-year-old in Smyrna. Witnesses telling Smyrna police shots were fired between 2 vehicles in the area of Spring Road and Campbell Road. The child is being treated for a gunshot wound to the abdomen. Smyrna police saying that Craig Calhoun and Eric Rushy are charged now with aggravated assault with a firearm from an auto, first and third degree cruelty to a child, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime. Well, the water is still out in a portion of Fulton County this afternoon. The outage is impacting about 200 businesses in the area around the Mansell Crossing Shopping Center in Alpharetta. Repairs are underway to the North Point Parkway corridor. They're asking for patience as crews work to get the water back on for you. And fans are flocking to Mercedes-Benz Stadium today here in Atlanta to see soccer history.
It's the first FIFA Club World Cup match ever played on U.S. soil in the tournament's 25-year history. As Britain's Chelsea FC faces LAFC from Los Angeles, the match begins at 3 p.m. It's one of 6 matches that will be played here in Atlanta, which is one of several host cities in the U.S. The Benz will also host matches this Thursday and Sunday. The final match here will be a quarterfinal contest on July 5th. MARTA has expanded service before and after matches to help with extra traffic. It'll run shuttle service between its stations at the Georgia World Congress Center and 5 Points. Judd Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
Stay close. Traffic and weather coming up. It's 1:02.
There's a new optimism in the air, and we think investors like you might have the best year ever. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. Last year, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Everyday folks from all walks of life have enjoyed 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of small businesses right here at home. If you're a qualified investor and have a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest rates. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. We believe this is going to be a special year and a great year. We've got the projects. Now we need partners like you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com and see if our First Liberty notes are right for you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com. That's FirstLibertyGA.com.
First Liberty notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. Purchasers must verify their SEC accredited investor status. Securities are not being offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
At Kroger, we've lowered prices on over 1,000 items across our stores so you can save even more. Whether you're shopping in-store or online at Kroger, we've lowered prices on thousands of the items your family wants and needs. And with lower prices, your dollar goes further every time you shop with us. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Save big on eggs. Right now, 18-count cartons of large grade A Kroger brand eggs are just $3.49 each with your digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
365 days a year, just call us up, we'll be right there. Our service is guaranteed. At Shoemate, we take great care. Our experts are always there for you and your family's needs. When your family just can't wait, you can always count
a Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
If you've ever organized your closet only to have it look like a bomb went off in there 1 month later, then it's time to call Artisan Custom Closets. Dave Baker here with a custom spacious closet from Artisan. You'll never have to deal with all that clutter again. ArtisanCustomClosets.com.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather. Andrew Seco has a look at the roads.
Monday movement in full force, light at the normal volume, moving just fine. We do have some stoppage in and out of downtown, 75, 85 north and southbound, either direction, slow from 17th Street down to I-20 and 85 proper. Still seeing extra brake lights from earlier trouble. Just southbound at Buford Highway, the crash is clear, but we're still feeling the effects back towards Georgia 400. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy, hot and humid today. High 88. Scattered showers and thunderstorms late this afternoon into the evening hours. Lows tonight in the low 70s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with scattered storms throughout the afternoon. High 87. Wednesday, partly cloudy. High 89.
Right now in Duluth, we have 83 degrees. It's 85 in College Park. Out in Beaufort, partly cloudy skies and 84 degrees. We'll have more news at 1:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Today on The Eric Erickson Show, he's a 40-year broadcaster, Marconi Award winner, and always in search of the perfect cup of coffee. Filling in for Eric today, Dan Mandis.
Always appreciate the opportunity to fill in, and thank you for being here. You can follow me on the socials, on X and Facebook as well, both at Dan Mandis Show, and I host a morning show in Nashville, Tennessee on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Well, I'm sure that you know that there were some political assassinations in Minnesota over the weekend. Horrible, horrible story. And what's making it, of course, even worse is that the Democrats are trying to pin it on Donald Trump. Now, I want to play you some audio. This is Democrat Senator Jeff Merkley, and he says that, you know, it's that Donald Trump, he's really ratcheting up the rhetoric.
There was a state representative, Democratic leader of the state legislature in Minnesota killed over the weekend, a state senator shot. How would you describe the current political atmosphere in this country this morning?
I feel like Trump has really popped the lid off the rhetoric and the sense of hate and violence and promoted this type of an environment. It's profoundly disturbing. For all of us. We have seen increased threats across the country. You're probably familiar with the pizza threats. We've seen more of that where pizzas or other food is delivered to people's families that they haven't ordered. Just to say from the right wing, we know who you are, we know where you live. I can tell you all of our families feel a greatly heightened sense. And just let me just say, my heart goes out to the families in Minnesota. How horrific for the whole country, but particularly we're holding the folks in Minnesota in our hearts.
Yeah, no place in this country for political violence of any kind.
Now, look, I actually agree with that, as a matter of fact, the very serious, somber voices on CNN. But first of all, this guy, this Democrat, he's talking about how, I guess the accusation is that Democrats are having pizzas delivered to their homes with a message, we know where you live. Is really? Okay. I'm going to be honest with you. I've not heard of that. But can I tell you what I have heard of? What I have heard of is all of these instances where the police are getting phone calls, and the phone calls to 911 are that there is some sort of an armed robbery happening at some conservative, some Republicans' home, when there isn't one happening. But the police come in, and they've got, their guns at the ready, and they've got, they're knocking on the door really loud. There's a lot of confusion, and somebody could actually get killed. And that is what's happening to Republicans. They're just sitting at home one night watching a movie, and then all of a sudden the cops show up, and they're coming in hot and heavy, and they're trying to figure out there's an armed robbery, and the Republicans are like, no, there's no armed robbery. And then Lord help the Republican that goes out and he's got a gun because he is trying to figure out what all the craziness. And so he goes out to try to investigate what the heck's going on his property. I know that that's happening to conservatives. That's happened to members of the media. This has happened to state lawmakers and I'm sure folks in Congress as well. That's what's going on. But the other thing that I would ask is, okay, so Democrat Jeff Merkley, can you tell me exactly what it is that Donald Trump has said? Because he's the one that's talking about how Donald Trump is ratcheting up all of that rhetoric. Donald Trump is the one that is inspiring these assassinations. Is he? Really? Is Donald Trump the one that is ratcheting up all this violence? Of course it's not. We saw what is happening in Los Angeles. We saw what has happened all across America. We all remember the Summer of Love. I want you to think about this, friends. How ridiculous of an argument is it? You've got Karen Bass and you've got Gavin Newsom out there in California. And how ridiculous is this line of thinking, right? So, and I know, I'm sure that Eric has talked about this, but it is so silly where you have the official line from the Democrats in California saying, if it wasn't for the law enforcement, everything would be peaceful. How ridiculous is that? That's like saying, if it wasn't for my parents trying to parent me, I wouldn't have gone off to a career of crime. I wouldn't be a career criminal. If my parents would just left me alone, that doesn't, see what I'm saying? That doesn't make any sense. But Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass, they're out there and that's actually their line of thinking. And so for me, when I hear some of these things that Donald Trump and Republicans are accused of, and by the way, you folks don't know me. This is the first time I've been, filling in for Eric Erickson. It is an honor. And I do talk about my support of conservative values a lot. And Donald Trump is the president of the United States, and right now he is the one that is behind the Resolute desk. And I happen to like a lot of the things that he's done. There's some things that I don't like that he's done, and I will get into that. But if it sounds like I'm perpetually and constantly defending Donald Trump, it's because when you go after Donald Trump and you go after the man unfairly, then to me, it's just more gaslighting. Just like we saw during the 4 years of the Biden administration, when they were sitting here telling us that the border was secure. And when they were telling us that, Joe Biden, he's sharp as a tack. Oh, absolutely, he's fit for office. Yeah, right. Well, this audio from this Senator, Jeff Merkley, him saying, oh, yeah, Donald Trump is the one that's really ramping up all of the rhetoric and the violence. Well, that's simply not true. Donald Trump is trying to stop the violence with the National Guard. And personally, I believe that was the right thing to do, sending the National Guard and the Marines into Los Angeles, because you'll notice that all of that violence stopped. Because then you had Karen Bass, and she put up a curfew, and a lot of that has now, I believe, most of it has stopped. But they're talking about the Minnesota assassinations. And I'm going to get this out there right up front. I just told you a few moments ago, I host a morning show in Nashville, Tennessee on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I have a plethora of what I not so affectionately call hate listeners. They're progressive, they're conservative. Some conservatives don't like me. Most of all, progressives absolutely hate me. But I had both daring me to play this one audio soundbite. You ready? I'm going to go ahead and play it because I've been dared to play this all morning long. I was dared to play this audio soundbite.
Did he talk much about Trump? And what did he say, if so?
I was a Trump supporter. Voted for Trump. Do you like Trump? I like Trump.
Oh, Mandis, you're not going to talk about how the Minnesota assassin was a Trump supporter. There's no way you're going to do that. Well, of course I'm going to. Because to me, the truth is more important than any narrative. Now, I don't know if Donald Trump, I don't know if this guy, Vance Bolter, was actually a Trump supporter. I know that that is what his roommate says. But was he an actual Donald Trump supporter? I don't know. I know that they have a manifesto that, and I'm going to get to this in a second, but they've got a manifesto that nobody is releasing as of yet. But he was finally arrested late Sunday night for the murders of Democratic State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband and the attempted murder of Democratic State Senator John Hoffman and his wife. And so, as you may or may not know, there's a lot to this story. They found approximately 70 potential targets in a car used by Bolter, including a lot of Democrats, including folks such as Tim Walz, Ilhan Omar, and others. And it seems to me like, and I think they just had a press conference. I'll look up the very latest here in a second. But bottom line is that how the story goes is that on that list were also a bunch of abortion providers and pro-choice people on the list as well. So in other words, it sounds like this guy, Vance Bolter, is somebody who is pro-life. Passionately pro-life. And nothing justifies what he did. Absolutely nothing. And so for me, whether or not he's a Tim Walz supporter or a Donald Trump supporter, to me it doesn't make any difference. Now you're right, for a lot of folks, not only in talk radio, but also just in the world of politics, every time something like this happens, you say, well, who did he support? He's a registered what? Is he a Republican? Is he a Democrat? What is he? Well, the reality is that we don't really know much about Vance Bolter. What we do know is that he committed horrific crimes. At one point many years ago, in 2004, I think it was, he was a registered Republican. They've got open primaries in Minnesota, so we don't know if he was, Republican or a Democrat. We don't know any of that. But his longtime friend, this guy is like a roommate of his, which there's some weirdness there. But this roommate says, oh, yeah, he was a Trump supporter, sure.
I just want you guys to just not say crazy right-winger gone nuts and that was all he is, It just bothers me that's his legacy. But I knew him all my life.
The funny thing, too, is there's people, and I fall right into this category, where the guy's like, this roommate of Vance Bolter, it almost sounds a little too rehearsed. It sounds like this guy is a leftist trying to make it seem like this guy was a Donald Trump supporter. Now, Republicans swear this guy is actually a Democrat because of the fact that he was appointed to a couple of boards by Democrat governors. But those things can often be bipartisan. But to me, the more that I look at this story, the more it just sounds like this guy was independent-minded. And let's be honest, Donald Trump has a lot of supporters that are like that. But let me ask you this of my Democrat friends, of my progressive friends. Can I ask this question? If Donald Trump was to blame for what happened in Minnesota, well, then why aren't we seeing this all across the country? Why aren't we seeing every state lawmaker on the other side of the aisle gunned down? This dude clearly had mental issues. This dude clearly had mental problems. I mean, the left and the media and these politicians, they can go ahead and they can blame Donald Trump all they want. And that'll play well to their friends. But the reality is that this guy may have just been somebody who was so feverishly and fervently pro-life that he decided that he wanted to go out and take out people who were pro-choice. It could be as tragic and as simple as that. But what about the manifesto? So far, unless something has changed, authorities, they're refusing to release it.
We are working diligently on that. There's certainly some indications within that, but there's not specifics enough. We have been, this is a very active and fluid investigation. Throughout the day, as you've been waiting, and these teams have been out working out in the field, and they have been gathering more documents and information, so it would be premature for me at this point to really say exactly what the motivation might be from these writings, but we will be continuing to work on that and provide that information when we're able.
All right, so you have the roommate who says he was a Donald Trump supporter. You have the Democrats, of course, calling out Donald Trump, saying he inspired all of this, which, you know, to me is absolute nonsense. We have a manifesto out there that has not yet been released because they say that there was not enough in these writings to call it a manifesto. They also, by the way, in case you haven't heard this is really weird. They also stopped his wife and several other relatives. And she was driving around. It looked like she was kind of trying to skip town. She had a gun, ammo, cash, thousands of dollars in cash, like $50,000 in cash, and passports as well. They weren't arrested, but that is also a big part of this story as well. So that is the latest on the Minnesota assassinations. We'll have more as the story continues to develop. My name is Dan Mandis, in for Eric Erickson. You can follow me on the socials on X and Facebook at Dan Mandis Show. We'll return next.
So, as you're probably aware, I'm traveling today. My sisters tend to be the ones who help take care of my parents. I actually had to take my parents to cardiologist today. So even with all the big headlines, I've got to be with my parents today, taking them to the doctor. And I'm staying in a old rental house in Louisiana, rural Louisiana. And I've got my Eden Pure Thunderstorm turned on because this place has a fireplace that just the living room of this place smells like the fireplace. And now it doesn't, thanks to my Eden Pure Thunderstorm. I told y'all I travel with it. It's small. I keep it in my travel bag. I've got it plugged into the wall. Not only does it trap pollen and dust and smoke, it gets rid of every odor. That's how I'm using it. Gets rid of bacteria and viruses. You can get 3 of them. Save $200 at EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ERIC3, ERICK3. You go to EdenPureDeals.com. You'll see a discount code box. Put in ERIC3, ERICK3. Save $200. Get 3 of them. EdenPureDeals.com.
Those who love him, listen to find out what he's going to say next. Those who disagree with him, also listen to see what he's going to say next. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
122 in the Cool Ray Carrier traffic center, moving right along. Seeing some volume in and out of downtown, 75-85. You're seeing the brake lights either direction from 17th Street down to I-20. A couple extra minutes of commute time on your way to where you're getting to go. We're seeing some stoppage. We usually don't see this type of the morning. Going to pour through some jam cans, figure out what's what. 285 South, the inner loop at Chamblee Tucker Road. Exit number 34, and a little bit of stoppage through Henry County. Going to be tapping the brakes 75 southbound from 675 down towards Jodico Road, exit 222. This is where it's sponsored by Stone Mountain Park. See the same exact fireworks show July 1st to the 7th at Stone Mountain Park. All new fire drones plus the light show and fireworks finale. Tickets at stonemountainpark.com. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
95.5 WSB is giving you a chance to see world-class musician Hauser June 29th at Synovus Bank Amphitheater at Chastain Park. For more information and to enter to win 4 tickets to see Hauser, courtesy of 95.5 WSB, visit WSBRadio.com.
This is Scott Slade, and nothing takes the place of time when it comes to spotting problems with your health, especially cancer. The earlier the better. That's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging's LDCT body scan can be invaluable, giving you more time for you and your loved ones to take charge of your health. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. Due to overwhelming demand for a limited time, their $995 core body scan offer has been extended. It's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response to this offer that they've opened up more times in both offices, but appointments will fill up fast, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
When everyone in the family wants something different from this year's vacation, there's only one thing to do. Plan for Pigeon Forge. From gorgeous mountain views, shows, and shopping for leisure lovers to coasters, a 200-foot swing, and hundreds more rides for adventure seekers. Plus Dollywood's epic array of fun. There's plenty of variety for the whole family, all in one place. Unique experiences, quality time, and memories for years to come. Find your personal favorites. Plan your getaway at mypigeonforge.com.
When markets get rocky, the worst thing you can do is nothing. Hi, I'm David Nicholas, president and founder of Nicholas Wealth Management. Times like these demand action and a plan you can trust. That's why we rely on our trademark Retire Ready Bucket strategy. This strategy is designed to place a percentage of your portfolio into lower risk, income producing income bucket, aiming to generate steady cash flow for the first 10 to 15 years of retirement. Meanwhile, your growth bucket is filled with dividend and growth stocks, which has time to recover when markets are going crazy. So call Nicholas Wealth today at 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com to schedule a time to sit down with our team to review your plan. This strategy was crafted by experience. It's battle tested, and it's how you aim to keep your retirement on track even when the markets are not. So call Nicholas Wealth today at 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com. At Nicholas Wealth Management, we're prepared. Are you? Don't wait for the next headline to shake your confidence. Call Nicholas Wealth today, 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com. Nicholas Wealth Management. Retire ready.
Nicholas Wealth Management is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Neither the information nor any opinion expressed is to be construed as solicitation to buy or sell a security or personalized investment, tax, or legal advice.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. If you're over 50 and tired of your wireless bill getting higher and higher, there are 4 things to consider. 1, how much data are you really using? As we get older, we use less data on our wireless phone, but you're probably still paying for an unlimited plan that was designed for 20-somethings. 2, if you see Get a Phone on Us, get your sneakers out and run the other way. No one is giving you a free phone. You are paying for that phone over time with an overpriced rate plan and a long-term commitment. 3, check the fine print on that $15 a month plan. It's probably an intro price that'll double or triple later. You might even have to pay for several months of service up front. Number 4, be aware of cable company wireless plans. Most of your usage will be on Wi-Fi instead of 5G, and your calls and battery life could suffer. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide service without the big wireless bill. Our plans start at just $20 a month.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
You may not agree with him, but he tells you the truth. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Dan Mandis here in for Eric Erickson. Always appreciate the opportunity to fill in. You can follow me on the socials, on X and Facebook, both at Dan Mandis Show. Do you know what today is? 10 years since Donald Trump came down that escalator. 10 years since he announced that he was running for president. Really, actually, finally running for, that was 10 years ago. It is hard to believe. Do you know what? I have a question. Which party has changed more? Oh, this is an interesting question. Which party do you think has changed more? The Democrats or the Republicans in the last 10 years? I'll wait. Follow me on X at Dan Mandis Show. You know what? Shoot me a text. I should say, shoot me a tweet, a post on X at Dan Mandis Show, and tell me which party. And you can give a short explainer, or you can simply say Democrats or Republicans. But follow me on X at Dan Mandis Show. And if you want to post, you want to give me an @ you want to send me a private message, whatever it is, I think that's an interesting discussion. which party has changed the most since Donald Trump came down that golden escalator? The Democrats or the Republicans? I'm going to explore that coming up because I'm sitting here thinking about it. I think it's the Democrats that have changed more. Don't you? I think that's an easy one because Democrats, they have gone completely, and I mean completely crazy. And we'll talk about that straight ahead, right?
When traffic hits.
I-75 completely shut down north and south between McDonough and Locust Grove.
The Triple Team Traffic Center has you covered.
Brake lights fill in on 316 westbound at Sugarloaf Parkway.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
Heavy police fire department activity.
Brought to you by the Cool Ray Lifetime Parts and Labor Warranty.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News, weather,
Traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Ben Hill Renovation. The man accused of killing a Minnesota lawmaker and wounding another went to the homes of two other lawmakers to carry out more carnage on the night of the shootings, but one of the other lawmakers was not home, and the suspect left the other house after police arrived. That's according to Acting U.S. Attorney Joseph Thompson, who talked at a news conference today.
It is no exaggeration to say that his crimes are the stuff of nightmares. Belter stalked his victims like prey. He went to their homes, held himself out as a police officer, and shot them in cold blood.
And investigators found a list of about 70 names in the car that he'd used, including state and federal lawmakers. The suspect, Vance Bolter, surrendered to police on Sunday. Partly cloudy, scattered showers this evening and this afternoon late, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Afternoon highs right there around 88. Ground is broken on a multi-million-dollar repaving project in southwest Atlanta. Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens.
The Fairville Road Complete Street Project will start with resurfacing. That's paving this road from Mays Crossing southwest all the way to Bolton Road northwest to improve all of the road conditions.
And the project totaling approximately $33.2 million. Furniture and home decor chain At Home is filing for bankruptcy. The company blaming the impacts around tariffs. No word on if the company plans to close stores. There are currently more than 200 At Home locations in the United States, including more than a half a dozen stores right here in the metro Atlanta area. The company started as Garden Ridge Pottery back in 1979. It's 1:32.
It's Eric, and one of the questions I get asked all the time is, Erickson, where do I get a computer? I don't want to worry about the setup and all the tech support stuff. Y'all, you go to Vision Computers. Call them at 404-COMPUTE. Listen, when you call Vision, you're not getting stuck in a maze of hold music or menus. They answer the phone 15 seconds on average. That's right, 15 seconds. Real people, real help, real fast, right when you need it. And here's the part I love. You got an older computer, you got programs you rely on. Maybe QuickBooks or a niche software for your small business. You're afraid a new computer means losing it all or spending days doing transfers. Vision Computers got you covered. As long as your software is supported in Windows 11, they can move all your programs from your old computer to the new one efficiently, safely, and fast. It's like handing off all the hassle to someone who's an expert and knows what they're doing. So if you're thinking your old computer is fine but slowing down, maybe time for a new one. Call 404-COMPUTE today. That's 404-COMPUTE. Let Vision Computers take care of everything. You're never going to want to buy a computer another way.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
It is heating up outdoors and summer fun is just getting started. And you know what? I bet it'll get warmer before it gets cooler. And you know the best part about hot weather is walking into a cool, comfortable house. Dave Baker here for Cool Ray Heating and Cooling, Plumbing and Electrical. Don't let AC problems ruin your summer. Let Cool Ray tune up your air conditioner now. Ooh, are you thinking about a new, more efficient HVAC system? Cool Ray is offering up to $2,250 in rebates and free installation with the purchase of a complete home carrier system. And don't forget, Cool Ray is your one-stop shop when it comes to plumbing and electrical service too. Brightbox Electrical and Mr. Plumber are both both Coolray companies, so they've got all your electrical, plumbing, and HVAC needs covered. Ready to stay cool for the summer? Visit Coolray.com to book your appointment today. It's easy. No phone calls, no waiting on hold. Book the time and day that works best for you. Coolray and Carrier. Turn to the experts.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather. Here's Andrew Seco.
Still seeing the volume in and out of downtown, 75, 85 north and south. The brake lights either direction taking you from 17th Street down towards I-20. And inside the perimeter, got a little trouble. I-20 eastbound on the ramp to Flatchulls Road, exit 62. Stalled vehicle in a center lane on the ramp right there. Nearby work crews directing traffic around it to get you in and off of that ramp. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy, hot and humid through this afternoon, high 88. A few pop-up showers and thunderstorms with the heating of the day. Lows tonight in the low 70s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with scattered storms, high 87. Wednesday, partly cloudy, high 89.
It is 83 degrees in Midtown Atlanta. More news at 2 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Always great for the opportunity. Appreciate the opportunity to fill in for Eric Erickson. You can follow me on the socials, on X and Facebook at Dan Mandis Show. Hard to believe. It is hard to believe that it has been 10 years since Donald Trump came down that escalator. And as I was monologuing in the previous segment, talking about how it's been 10 years, the question struck me. Which party has changed? Now, certainly our world has changed, absolutely. But which party has changed more, the Democrats or the Republicans? Now, to me, I think it's a no-brainer. It's been the Democrats, and for the worst. I mean, you look at everything, the Democrats and the media, the news media, both have changed immensely since Donald Trump came down that escalator. And here's why. For the Democrats and for the media, there's a few things that are easy to talk about. And that is that their commitment to being anti-Trump has led to them destroying their own credibility. Whether you're a Democrat or a member of the media. I know that's redundant, but you know what I'm talking about. Let's start with the media. How many times has the media come out and they have reported just incessantly that Donald Trump did something or said something or whatever to paint the president in a negative light? And then as it turns out, well, the truth wasn't anywhere near what was being reported. I mean, Russian collusion is a perfect example. Remember the one where, it's like, remember the one? Remember all these examples? Do you remember the one where the media was out there and they were reporting that the Border Patrol, they were whipping Haitian migrants? Remember that one? And I do understand that was under Joe Biden, but it's an example of the media and how they will do everything in their power to try to keep Donald Trump from office. That's what was going on during that whole storyline during Joe Biden's reign, is that you had these Haitian migrants, they were coming across the border, and you had the media insisting that the Border Patrol was whipping those Haitian migrants when they actually weren't. The person who took the pictures, the photographer who was taking the pictures, even said, no, that's not what happened. My photographs, my art, they are being taken completely out of context. And why? Because the media was so passionately against Donald Trump that they wanted to sell that narrative because they thought that that would look poorly on Donald Trump because he is Mr., keep the border secure, build a wall, enforce our immigration policies. And so they do everything they can. The media did everything they can under Joe Biden's reign to protect Joe Biden and the Democrat Party. And in doing so, they destroyed their own credibility. I mean, I don't really feel like, you're a smart audience, right? You listen to Eric Erickson. So I don't really feel like I need to, go through all of the gaslighting that we saw during the Biden administration. But the question on the table is, which political party changed more since, Donald Trump came into the political sphere, running for president 10 years ago, making that incredible announcement? I mean, the Democrats have changed. They've just gone crazy. I mean, let's just be honest. The Democrats have gone bat crap crazy. And I think a number of things have happened. But to me, I think their Trump derangement syndrome, I think, has just become so incredibly crazy that their policies and their opinions are so far out of touch with the American people. And so I don't know if that was a reaction or a response to Donald Trump, or if it was a response and a reaction to Hillary Clinton losing that election to Donald Trump. It seems like that's where it started. Because somewhere along the line, they decided that Hillary was actually too mainstream. And they felt like they needed to go the other direction. And suddenly, you've got men in women's bathrooms. You've got men playing women's sports. You've got women being injured on the court or in the field by men who are playing on women's sports teams. And the Democrats, man, they are all about that. I mean, they support that till their dying day politically. Men in women's bathrooms. And all of those years, all of those decades where women, our grandmothers, our mothers, and now our wives, our sisters, and our daughters, they've been fighting. They've been fighting for equality and all of that. And all it took was one guy, Donald Trump, to come along and support women-only sports and support women-only bathrooms. And that was enough for the Democrats to go full bore and let's have men in women's bathrooms, to go against Donald Trump. And they destroy not only their legacy, but also their political party. What about illegal immigration? You know, part of what happened during the Trump administration the first time is that he proved that, yeah, you know what? We can guard our borders. We can guard our borders. We can keep people out. And he proved that during the first term, certainly during the second term. But in between those two terms, Joe Biden and the Democrats and whoever was operating Joe Biden's mind and the auto pen decided that open borders, completely opposite of what Donald Trump was advocating for, which was closed borders. Democrats had to go full open border. But not only that, but they lied about it. Now, the reasons for that, I mean, we can go down the reasons for that. The reasons why Joe Biden and the Democrats wanted an open border, number of things. Number one, it is contrary to Donald Trump, so that's where the TDS comes in. But also, let's not forget that you've got all of these people that are fleeing these big blue cities, these big blue sanctuary cities. People are fleeing them. And so Democrats, of course, shipping in these illegal aliens to sort of backfill so that they can maintain that representation in the House of Representatives. So there's a lot going on. Let's also not forget that the Democrats lied about the borders. I mean, everybody knows that too. You folks, I know you all know this. But when you look at how the Democrat Party has changed, not for the better, but for the worse. And I think it all began with Donald Trump. They didn't know what to do when Trump won. And the period of self-reflection, I think their ultimate goal was to try to neuter Donald Trump as much as they could. And that showed an absolute disrespect for our political system. You know, you had the Mueller investigation and all of that. Now you can talk about the Republicans. Have the Republican Party changed? Yeah, the Republican Party has changed a lot. And I think personally the Republican Party has changed for the better. And I do understand that there's some people out there, there's some Republicans and conservatives that are out there, and you'll say, oh, no, Donald Trump has destroyed the Republican Party. No, he hasn't. Whoever would have thought that the Republican Party would be the party of no more wars, right? No more forever wars. That, to me, is one of the biggest things that Donald Trump changed. And the Republican Party, and I've got an update on Israel and Iran coming up, but for President Trump, he came in and he asked a lot of questions of the Republican Party. Because for a lot of people who are conservative, you know what the Democrats are going to do. They're bat crap crazy these days. But let's talk about the Republicans. Let's talk about our party. And why exactly is it that we're spending so much money? And by the way, unfortunately, it seems like the spending with the big, beautiful bill, it looks like it doesn't matter the party. We're just going to spend into oblivion, and nobody cares, including Donald Trump. Now, this is where I get a little frustrated with the president, who I very much support and I would vote for again, but if he was running again, but he's not. But I got to tell you that of the things that I believe that Donald Trump has done wrong, I think the big, beautiful bill, put that in air quotes, I believe that is not going to be something that is going to be in America's best interest if it passes. And so I think that there's a lot of people who are conservative who will look at that particular situation and throw up their hands and just give up. If you're like a budget hawk, if you're a deficit hawk, if you're a debt hawk, if you look at these things and you say, when is anyone going to actually take these things seriously? You don't expect it from the Democrats. You do expect it from the Republicans. And so far, that has not been a change that the Republican Party has engaged in, sadly. But I think part of what's going on, and I realize I'm jumping around, but I think part of what's going on with the Republican Party is just some serious self-reflection. I mean, when you look at the fact that it's Donald Trump and the Republicans who did a heck of a lot better. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but they did a heck of a lot better with minorities, with Hispanics, with black voters. Who ever saw that coming? Well, I did. A lot of you did too. I'm sure Eric did. But it hit the Democrats like a 2x4 across the head. So in a span of 10 years and one trip down a golden escalator, suddenly the Republican Party is the party of the family. Trump wants to give tax credits. What is it, $5,000? He wants to give $5,000 in I think it's child care tax credits to families. He wants to have those, I'm going to air quote this, the Trump accounts for $1,000 for newborn babies. And J.D. Vance, he has a great way of selling this. Republicans have always been about the family. So why don't we just rip that away from the Democrats and we will then become the party of the family in all types, being pro-life, trying to help the economy of families across America. And all the Democrats seem to care about is men in women's bathrooms and open borders. There was also a time when the Republican Party, they were nothing about trying to stop foreign wars. This is where it gets a little dicey, because right now the conversation with Israel and Iran, that is going on. And so this one topic of foreign wars, whether or not you support Ukraine or sending all of these billions and billions of dollars to Ukraine, For a lot of years, many years, Republicans were all about that. Trying to spread democracy across the world. Now, there's a good number of Republicans that don't want to, and I'm going to air quote this, spread democracy across the world by trying to implement regime change, engaging in foreign wars, etc. Because we've seen disastrous results. So I think that both the Republican and the Democrat Party and the media, everyone, all these parties have changed over the last 10 years. I think the media has destroyed its credibility. I think the Democrats have destroyed their party. They have absolutely no idea what to do. They don't have a leader. There's so much infighting, they don't know what to do. They've got the midterm elections coming up, and somehow they believe that there's no King's protest or rally or whatever you want to call it over the weekend. This was supposed to be something that was going to be a huge thing for them. But there's no call to action. Over the weekend, these No Kings rallies or protests, they were just as rudderless as the Democrat Party themselves. Republican Party has changed too. Some for the good, some not for the good. But I think overall, the Republican Party is in a lot better shape now, clearly, than they were 10 years ago. And that's all thanks to one man, Donald Trump, who was able to solidify the support of the Republican Party over the last 10 years in amazing fashion. My name is Dan Mandis. You can follow me on the socials, on X and Facebook as well, at Dan Mandis Show. We'll return next.
With the 4th of July coming up, Hillsdale College actually has a great course on the founding of the American Republic, the Constitutional Convention, early American history, and the colonial period. It's really good. My degrees in college were political science and history with a minor in English. Those 2 majors, 1 minor, then went off to law school. And actually, American history was my focus. And there's so much there I had forgotten that Hillsdale reminded me of in the early constitutional conventions, the fighting over slavery, how the country would shape up in terms of being a republic and the divisions between states and the federal government. And of course, all the hullabaloo about the Articles of Confederation. It's all there free of charge for you to take and remind yourself about how ingenious our system is. You go to ericforhillsdale.com, E-R-I-C-K, ericforhillsdale.com. You sign up with Hillsdale College. You take the class, you get a certificate of completion. You never pay a penny, and you've improved your mind and you reappreciate American history. So many great classes to choose from, 40 of them, in fact. Eric, E-R-I-C-K, ericforhillsdale.com.
He'll do the research and give it to you straight. Eric Erickson is live every weekday.
152 in the Cool Ray Carrier Traffic Center. Watch the crash clear out of the center lane. All lanes back open. 7585 northbound at 10th Street. Exit 250. Brake lights still taking some time to thin out. About 10 extra minutes on the connector northbound as you leave University Avenue. Elsewhere, we do still have some road work in the left lane. Earlier trouble was cleared from here, but we're still working hard to get that left lane cleaned up. I-20 westbound right at the connector. 7585 exit number 57. This word sponsored by Echo Park Speedway. Experience the Quaker State 400 available at Walmart Saturday, June 28th. Under the lights in Atlanta. Get your tickets now at EchoParkSpeedway.com. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
When news breaks, Vance Belter, who police say shot and killed former Minnesota House Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband. We've got it covered. Police say the suspect impersonated a police officer. Tune in often for the latest.
Governor Brian Kemp also issued a statement saying there's no place in America for political violence.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
This is Scott Slade, and nothing takes the place of time when it comes to spotting problems with your health, especially cancer. The earlier, the better. That's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging's LDCT body scan can be invaluable, giving you more time for you and your loved ones to take charge of your health. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. Due to overwhelming demand for a limited time, their $995 core body scan offer has been extended. It's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response to this offer that they've opened up more times in both offices, but appointments will fill up fast, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
It's your money. Get it sooner. All you need is direct deposit with a checking or savings account at Coosa Valley Credit Union. This is Andy Harris, president of Coosa Valley Credit Union. Not only can you get your money sooner, but we believe in kinder banking where you deal with real people in person. So come see us.
Yeah, about 12, 13 years ago, I remember sitting in the house watching TV when I noticed that one of the walls looked different. It was a darker shade than the rest of the walls. Upon further investigation, it was soft and wet to the touch. You know, not having any plumbing in that area, there's only one real explanation. My roof was leaking.
Dave Baker for Finley Roofing, the roof guys.
So I needed a new roof. Like any major repair for my house, I checked out a bunch of companies. Only one company passed all my criteria, though, Finley Roofing. The roof guys. Finley Roofing was the perfect match when it came to getting a new roof. Turned out they really are the extra effort experts. They treated my home like it was their own, tearing off the old shingles, installing new ones. They were neat and cleaned everything up, and I didn't pay anything until the job was complete. Right now, Finley is offering upfront pricing, 0% financing, and a free roof analysis. When it comes to roofing issues, think of Finley first. See them on the web at finleyroofing.com.
JIC, Flat Face Seal, BSP, and DEN. If you know what these are, then listen up.
I'm Victoria Holloway. We can replicate hose assembly on site with Mobile Hydraulics of Georgia.
Call 770-HYD-HOSE or try our website, HYDHOSE.com.
Y'all, it's Eric. I know as a homeowner, you start seeing the cracks in the wall or the door start sticking. You wonder what's going on. You could have a foundation problem. Engineered Solutions of Georgia is the only foundation repair company in Georgia with licensed engineers on staff providing the highest quality of work. If you got concerns, reach out to them for a free inspection. Go to ESOGrepair.com. That's ESOGrepair.com.
Dial 678 ESOG now.
WSB Atlanta, WSB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Get the podcast, live stream, email, and social media links by texting Eric to 33777 now.
It's kind of funny. I want to play a quick piece of audio for you. Just we're sitting here talking about in the last segment about which party has changed more in the last 10 years, the Republicans or the Democrats. And I believe, and if you have something that you'd like to add, you can follow me on X at Dan Mandis Show. You can send me a direct message. You can at me, whatever it is that you want to do. But I think we would all agree, even a lot of Democrats agree, that their party has just simply gone bat crap crazy. Democrats, of course, as you know, they are the party of cancel culture. Well, now, believe it or not, they want to cancel the 4th of July.
July is canceled. I don't know what we would be celebrating, freedom where.
Don't buy any freaking fireworks. Don't be popping fireworks because there's nothing to celebrate at all.
Is there a way we can cancel 4th of July? Because the United States is not justice for all, you know what I mean?
4th of July should be canceled because we are not the land of the free.
So there you go. We are not the land of the free. And, part of what's going on, and this is part of the storyline today. I'm going to get into this a little bit in the next hour. Part of what's going on, and maybe you've read about this, maybe you haven't, but there's a lot of these, influencers on the socials. And all of a sudden, they are beginning to spew politics. So if you're somebody who watches an influencer for hair or nails or whatever it is, suddenly they are talking about politics. I've got details straight ahead. This is the Eric Erickson Show.
Y'all, there's a way for you to beat tariffs and still get that new kitchen you want. You Google Frugal Kitchens. Right now, you book an appointment with Frugal Kitchens. They're going to give you the Frugal Price Lock, where you're going to be able to get your kitchen remodeled with Frugal Kitchens for a great price with $1 million look, and you'll lock in pre-tariff pricing. Google Frugal Kitchens today. Book your appointment this month, and you'll save big and increase the value of your home with that kitchen you've been wanting. Google Frugal Kitchens today.
Hi, it's Wes Moss. And at my firm, Capital Investment Advisors, we believe retirement planning is a blend of smart investing and savvy tax planning. That's why our dedicated team of CPAs is looking to expand. If you're a CPA or know a tax accountant looking to join a growing team who balances a passion for excellent work with an engaging office environment, reach out to us at yourwealth.com/join our team. We'd love to meet you.
The U.S. is investing up to $1 billion to fight the spread of bird flu.
At the top and bottom of every hour.
Traffic congestion around Metro Atlanta continues to cost commuters.
And when it breaks.
The suspect is in critical condition after being struck multiple times.
Check back 3, 4, 5 times a day for the latest.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
News, weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
At 2 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top story. New details emerging today after a man's accused of targeting several state lawmakers in Minnesota.
I'm Peter King. Investigators say Vance Belter meticulously planned his attack and had a hit list that included 45 elected officials in Minnesota. Acting U.S. Attorney Joe Thompson.
In the early morning hours of June 14th, Belter went to the homes of 4 Minnesota state politicians with the intent to kill them.
He says one wasn't home, and when Belter saw a police officer at another house, he stayed in his car. Now he faces first-degree murder charges for the deaths of Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband.
And these are punishable by a term of life imprisonment or even death.
He also faces charges for shooting and wounding Senator John Hoffman and his wife.
88 degrees in Atlanta. We are watching for more scattered showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. 2 men are behind bars in the shooting of a 6-year-old in Smyrna. The child is being treated for a gunshot wound to the abdomen and is expected to survive. Witnesses say shots were fired between 2 vehicles in the area of Spring and Campbell Roads. Major Lewis Defense with Smyrna Police says the child was in one of those cars.
We know that at least one of the parties that was in the car with the child had direct involvement with this incident.
Craig Calhoun and Eric Rushy are charged with aggravated assault with a firearm from an auto as well as child cruelty. President Trump says Iran may be willing to discuss a de-escalation with Israel. The president says he gave Iran a 60-day window to bargain with the U.S. over their nuclear capabilities, and Israel attacked on the day after that deadline expired.
They'd like to talk, but they should have done that before.
The president says he thinks Iran wants to talk now because Israel is doing so well. Soccer history is made in Atlanta as the city hosts the first ever Club World Cup match on U.S. soil today.
The UK's Chelsea FC faces LAFC from Los Angeles at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Atlanta is one of a dozen host cities, and we'll see a total of 6 matches between now and a quarterfinal game on July 5th. Other matches this week will be on Thursday and Sunday. MARTA says it will expand its service for the matches and run a shuttle between the World Congress Center and 5 Point stations.
WSB's Judd Higginbotham says today's match begins 1 hour from now. Happening now, a water main break impacts about 200 businesses near North Point Mall in Alpharetta. Repairs underway in the area around the Mansell Crossing Shopping Center. It is now 2:02. This news is sponsored by Bread Beckers. Up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
Hi, this is Candace from Exovations, and have I got a tip for you. But today, instead of giving you a home remodeling tip, my tip is don't just take my word for it. For over 20 years, you've heard me on the radio sharing remodeling advice. But if you really want to know what sets Exovations apart, go read our reviews. At exovations.com, you'll find hundreds of real stories from real homeowners who have trusted us with their exterior remodeling projects. From decks, siding, windows, doors, paint, roofing, porticos, and so much more. You'll see words like amazing work, incredible experience from start to finish, and again, stress-free. That's not just what we say, it's what our customers say. So yes, I'm Candace from Exovations, but don't just listen to me. Listen to our reviews. At Exovations, we do projects on time, on budget, and without all that stress. Google Exovations or visit exovations.com.
When markets get rocky, the worst thing you can do is nothing. Hi, I'm David Nicholas, president and founder of Nicholas Wealth Management. Times like these demand action and a plan you can trust. That's why we rely on our trademark retire-ready bucket strategy. This strategy is designed to place a percentage of your portfolio into lower risk, income-producing income bucket, aiming to generate steady cash flow for the first 10 to 15 years of retirement. Meanwhile, your growth bucket is filled with dividend and growth stocks, which has time to recover when markets are going crazy. So call Nicholas Wealth today at 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com to schedule a time to sit down with our team to review your plan. This strategy was crafted by experience. It's battle tested, and it's how you aim to keep your retirement on track even when the markets are not. So call Nicholas Wealth today at 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com. At Nicholas Wealth Management, we're prepared. Are you? Don't wait for the next headline to shake your confidence. Call Nicholas Wealth today, 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com. Nicholas Wealth Management. Retire ready.
Nicholas Wealth Management is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Neither the information nor any opinion expressed is to be construed as solicitation to buy or sell a security or personalized investment, tax, or legal advice.
It's now 2:05 and time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. In the 24-hour traffic center, it's Andrew Seco.
Looking at some left lane blockage right in the heart of downtown, I-20 westbound. We're doing some road work in that left lane right at exits 57, 75, 85. Just a quick tap of the brakes before you hit the connector. Once you do, you're going to be sitting in brake lights north and southbound between 17th Street down towards I-20. And some trouble on a major surface spot here between North Druid Hills and Brookhaven. Claremont Road southbound, only a left lane getting by with this big crash right at the I-85 bridge. Luckily, we're getting through. Just plan for some extra commute time in and out of the area. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Epwards. Partly cloudy, hot and humid today. High 88. Scattered showers and thunderstorms late this afternoon into the evening hours. Lows tonight in the low 70s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with scattered storms throughout the afternoon. High 87. Wednesday, partly cloudy. High 89.
85 in Douglasville, 88 in Conyers, and in Decatur. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Today on The Eric Erickson Show, he's a 40-year broadcaster, Marconi Award winner, and always in search of the perfect cup of coffee. Filling in for Eric today, Dan Mandis.
And you can follow me on the socials, on X and Facebook at Dan Mandis Show. And, you know, I got to be honest with you, this never gets old.
Donald Trump is America's Hitler.
Good job, Eric. Eric Swalwell, everybody. Does anybody realize within the Democrat Party how incredibly anti-Semitic that is? Anytime you sanitize Adolf Hitler by saying Donald Trump is America's Adolf Hitler, you're sanitizing what Adolf Hitler did. And I'm sorry, but is Donald Trump killing anybody? Is Donald Trump rounding up a bunch of people, putting them in concentration camps and killing them for their religion, their ethnicity, what they believe in, where they're from? No, he has not done any of that. He's not killing people for no reason at all. He's not even killing people. So when the Democrats perpetually say
Donald Trump is America's Hitler.
When, I get, you know what I guess it is? I guess they didn't actually learn in 2024 that was not a winning slogan. And you know what's funny about that? I'm going to go ahead and repost this. If you want to follow me on X, you can at Dan Mandis. I'm going to repost this. If you're interested in seeing it, Eric Swalwell, he looks so proud of himself when he says that. But the reality is that he's only proving himself and his party ignorant. And you know, it's funny, too, because there are people that will say, oh, all you do is support, I talked about this earlier, all you do is support anything Donald Trump does. Not true. But can I say this? Can I say that it's easy to support Donald Trump and conservatives when the other side is so bat crap crazy? I mean, honestly, think about it. There's another video. I try to be as active as I can on X. There's another video, and I absolutely love it, where some guy on the No Kings rallies yesterday, he's messing with a horse. Now, I happen to know, and I'm not a big fan of riding horses, but I happen to know that you never mess with a cop's horse. This was in Los Angeles, and the guy just gets knocked backwards and on the ground. And I don't know about you. I don't like violence. I'm certainly not a violent person. But am I the only one where if you see somebody acting really badly, yelling at cops, spitting at cops, throwing things at cops and law enforcement, and somebody comes up and just either throws them out of the way if they're in front of a cop car, or just takes them down, and they start, crying like a baby. I don't know about you, but I kind of like that stuff. I do. Because they're getting what they deserve. What is it? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes? That's what's happening on the left. And so when somebody like Eric Swalwell, or, for example, Gavin Newsom, will say utterly ridiculous things like, oh, well, if it wasn't for Donald Trump bringing in the National Guard, we wouldn't have had all of this violence. Anybody with a rational train of thought would know that that is absolute silliness. This is Gavin Newsom talking about Donald Trump's, this is the way he's describing this, Donald Trump's parade.
Saturday, in response to this military event.
Do it peacefully. It's a vulgar display.
It's a vulgar display. I would like to know how much Gavin Newsom watched the Army's 250th birthday. How was that a vulgar display? And here's the other thing. Because I did spend some time watching it. For every tank that rolled down the streets of Washington, D.C., for every piece of military equipment, whether we're talking about planes or tanks or automobiles or whatever, do you know what all of that represents? Gavin Newsom? That represents not only American superiority, but it also represents America saving the world. Say, for example, from Adolf Hitler, for example. And so when you've got the left screaming about, oh my gosh, Donald Trump thinks he's a king. He's having this vulgar display of military superiority on his birthday. Well, it also happened to be the birthday for the Army, 250 years. And Gavin Newsom and the Democrats, they just can't handle it.
Saturday, in response to this military event.
Do it peacefully. It's a vulgar display. It's the kind of thing you see Kim Jong-un, you see it Putin, you see it with dictators around the world that are weak and just want to demonstrate strength. Weakness masquerading as strength.
Wow, you know what's so funny about that? Wasn't it Ronald Reagan that said peace through strength? Yes, it was. It was Ronald Reagan that said peace through strength. Of course, the absolute weakest governor in the nation, maybe Tim Walz would be a close second, is talking about how Donald Trump is weak. And this is a weak display. When in reality, I think that Donald Trump is doing a great job of exhibiting peace through strength.
Strength. Weakness masquerading as strength. To fet the dear leader on his birthday. What an embarrassment. Honestly, that's about as small as it gets.
Do you know what's embarrassing, I'd say to Gavin Newsom? Do you know what's embarrassing? What's embarrassing is how the city of Los Angeles, and by the way, I should mention that I'm from Los Angeles. I was born and raised in Los Angeles. I fled California before it was cool to flee California. I actually fled California, I think 3 times. The last time I was in California, I swore it would be the last time I was in California. But did you know what's embarrassing? What's embarrassing is the fact that you have all of these people, thousands of people every single year, millions over the years, that have fled the state of California. Your state, Gavin Newsom. We could talk about California. We could talk about New York. We could speak about Illinois. We could speak about any of those states. And how do I know that people are fleeing these states, as Gavin Newsom is saying, oh, it's an embarrassment what's happening with Donald Trump and this vulgar demonstration of just how weak he is? Do you know what has been a vulgar demonstration of weakness? How Gavin Newsom has been handling his own state, the state of California, as you have all of this violence that has overtaken parts of the city of Los Angeles. That has been a vulgar demonstration of weakness, courtesy of Gavin Newsom. It's true. As I said, I'm from California. As a matter of fact, if you follow me on the socials, one of the lines in my description, in my profile, is, I think it's called Recovering Californian. The other way that I know that people are leaving California is because they're moving to my state. They're moving to my state of Tennessee, where I've lived for the last almost 12 years. And every Californian, because I'm on the radio in Tennessee, I host a morning show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And so people are listening to talk radio, and of course they discover me, and they discover that I'm from California, because the native Tennesseans will never let me forget it in a good-natured way. But all these people from California, you know what they do? They reach out to me. And they say, you know, we fled California because, quite frankly, we couldn't take it anymore. We couldn't take the crime. We couldn't take the terrible schools. We couldn't take the graffiti. We couldn't take the high taxes. That's why people and businesses are fleeing California. And so Newsom, who I unfortunately, if you're a used car salesman, you're going to be insulted by this next statement, but dude is the used car salesman of politics. I said that one time in Nashville, and I had no less than 3 used car salesmen demanding an apology. All right, I get it. But Newsom, and the other California governors, I should say the other Democrat governors like him across the country, they are so wrapped up in their Trump derangement syndrome that they only make themselves look even worse. And the state of their states, it doesn't help them any.
How weak do you have to be to commandeer the military to fet you on your birthday in a vulgar display of weakness?
You said that.
That's Donald Trump.
All right, so that's Gavin Newsom. You know, I think Gavin Newsom, to be perfectly candid, I think he's just embarrassed. I do. I think that Gavin Newsom, he is just embarrassed because of what's happened over the last, really, honestly, over the last many years in California. And by the way, can I ask, what is wrong with showing the military some appreciation? Can I ask that question of you, listeners to the Eric Erickson Show? What is wrong with showing the military some love? After all, they've saved the world at least a couple of times.
Down through history, we've been blessed beyond words by this valiant legion of Army warriors and patriots, heroes and legends. And tonight we affirm with unwavering certainty that in the years ahead and in every generation hence, whenever duty calls and whatever danger comes, the American soldier will be there. No matter the risk, no matter the obstacles, our warriors will charge into battle. They will plunge into the crucible of fire, and they will seize the crown of victory. because the United States of America will always have the grace of Almighty God and the iron will of the United States Army. Congratulations to everybody. We love our country. We've never done better. Thank you. God bless you. God bless the Army, and God bless America.
And that's Donald Trump, and this was over the weekend, where he was giving the Army and the military the accolades they not only so really they deserve it. They deserve it. And can I ask a question? Why don't the Democrats ever talk like that? Anybody know? Why do the Democrats never talk like that? I love what Donald Trump had to say about the military. I love what happened over the weekend with the Army's 250th birthday. And I think that the Democrats deciding to have all of these No Kings parades all across the country, I think that that's at their own peril, because I believe that the majority of the American people have nothing but support for the military. And so you remember when I said, earlier in the program when I said, which party has changed more, the Democrats or the Republicans? Clearly, it is the Democrats. Because if Donald Trump is showing an appreciation for the military, well, then it has to happen, right? Then the Democrats have to turn around and say that what happened over the weekend was a vulgar display of weakness. You see how it works? And so oftentimes with the Democrats, the more that they speak and the more that they hear Donald Trump, the more they react and the bigger spiral they go into. You got all these people now, and maybe I'll talk about this a little bit, but you got all these people within the Democrat Party that are now quitting because of all of the infighting. And the reason why they're infighting, do you know why they're fighting? Because they don't know how to react to Donald Trump. My name is Dan Mandis, in for Eric Erickson. We'll return next.
Joel, I don't understand Basel III, the new regulations that are coming out, but here's what I know from my friends at Swiss America is a lot of people buy gold, and it's actually certificates of gold ownership. They call it paper gold, and it's like 100 to 1 not gold. And the new regulations are going to require that it be backed by at least 85% gold, but 85% is still not 100%. Central banks realize that the regulations are changing. They're having to re-leverage their gold supplies. That's driving up the price of gold. Inflation's having an impact. The BRICS are getting together in July. That's Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and about 40 other countries that want to realign away from American currency as the world's reserve currency. They're buying gold to go back to gold trading. All of this is impacting gold prices. If you're interested in gold, talk to Swiss America. They can set you straight. Call them. Tell them I sent you. 800-289-2646. That's 800-289-2646. Tell them Eric sent you.
When the world seems crazy, he'll keep you sane. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
222 in the cool. Ray Carrier traffic center moving right along. Seeing the volume in and out of downtown, 75, 85 north and south. A couple extra brake lights slowing you down from 17th Street all the way down towards I-20. Speaking of I-20, we're still blocking that left lane with some road work westbound right at the connector, I-75, 85. And a little better news out of the Briarcliff Woods, North Druid Hills area, that big crash, only that left lane open. We have been cleared, all lanes back open. Got a smoother ride coming. Claremont Road right when you get towards I-85. This is where it's sponsored by the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup. The 2025 FIFA Club World Cup is coming to Atlanta. Get ready for a global soccer showdown at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Don't just watch history, be there. Get tickets at FIFA.com/tickets. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
What's a good way to protect yourself from porch pirates? I'm Chris Chandler. When you join us Tuesday at 5 for Atlanta's Morning News, Clark Howard's been looking into that. Plus breaking metro stories and our exclusive 5-day forecast. Israel and Iran, how much of a war can it really be? We'll go in depth on the military part of all this. And remember, Triple Team Traffic reports to get you to work on time too. Join us starting at 5 on 95.5 WSB.
Only
inches separates you from the heavy rain trying to infiltrate your home. If your old roof is leaking, think of Findlay First for a remarkable roof replacement. Schedule a free roof analysis. FindlayRoofing.com.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
And 6/22/25. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
When you plan your next flight, you should plan to park at Park ATL Select, the best kept secret at the airport. Only 5 minutes from your car to the terminal. Park ATL Select. It's close and convenient. Best of all, you can reserve a covered spot, so you never have to circle the lot. Online reservations at Park ATL Select. Close, convenient, and covered airport parking. Reserve your spot today at myparkatl.com.
There's a new optimism in the air, and we think investors like you might have the best year ever. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. Last year, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Everyday folks from all walks of life have enjoyed 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of small businesses right here at home. If you're a qualified investor and have a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest rates. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. We believe this is going to be a special year and a great year. We've got the projects. Now we need partners like you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com and see if our First Liberty notes are right for you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com. That's FirstLibertyGA.com.
First Liberty notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. Purchasers must verify their SEC accredited investor status. Securities are not being offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
Hi, this is Candace from Exovations, and have I got a tip for you. But today, instead of giving you a home remodeling tip, my tip is don't just take my word for it. For over 20 years, you've heard me on the radio sharing remodeling advice. But if you really want to know what sets Exovations apart, go read our reviews. At exovations.com, you'll find hundreds of real stories from real homeowners who have trusted us with their exterior remodeling projects. From decks, siding, windows, doors, paint, roofing, porticos, and so much more. You'll see words like amazing work, incredible experience from start to finish, and again, stress-free. That's not just what we say, it's what our customers say. So yes, I'm Candace from Exovations, but don't just listen to me. Listen to our reviews. At Exovations, we do projects on time, on budget, and without all that stress. Google Exovations or visit EXOVATIONS.com.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Giving you the truth, not the talking points. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
My name is Dan Mandis, in for Eric Erickson. I host a morning show in Nashville, Tennessee on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And you can follow me on the socials, on X and Facebook as well. I try to post as much content as I can to my social media pages. Listen to this headline. I'm going to post this as soon as we go into a commercial break. But the headline is this from the New York Post. Maybe you saw this, maybe you didn't. Nearly 1 million illegal immigrants have self-deported under Donald Trump, which has led to higher wages. Now, this is obviously good for a lot of different reasons. Number one, because if people are self-deporting, then we've got to give them that $1,000, right? That's number one. But number two, is that if they do self-deport, one of the big problems, it's a big problem with illegal immigration, is that wages are depressed, right? You have a bunch of people coming in, let's say construction site. They come in, they are willing to work for a lot cheaper than American workers. And so what that does is that depresses the wages. So when I see the headline, nearly 1 million illegal aliens have self-deported under Donald Trump, leading to higher wages, obviously that is good news. And they're saying that no one saw this kind of success for Donald Trump's self-deportation program. I think it's great. We're not done. Coming up after the break, I'm going to tell you all about an announcement that Donald Trump made earlier today regarding illegal immigration. It is all straight ahead. My name is Dan Mandis. This is The Eric Erickson Show.
When news breaks,
Riot gear-clad police used tear gas to get the protesters off the street at Chamblee-Tucker Road.
We've got it covered. A man posing as a law enforcement officer shoots 2 Minnesota elected officials.
With news at the top and bottom of every hour and when it breaks.
Tune in often for the latest. The Israel-Iran conflict is intensifying, with both sides trading strikes on Sunday. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's breaking news station. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's news and talk.
At 2:30, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top story. New details today on the man accused of killing a Minnesota state lawmaker and her husband. Vance Belter now faces federal murder and stalking charges. He's also charged with shooting another state lawmaker and his wife, who survived. Minnesota acting U.S. Attorney Joseph Thompson says Belter visited the homes of 2 other lawmakers.
Belter went to the homes of 4 Minnesota state politicians with the intent to kill them.
Belter could face the death penalty if convicted. A shootout between 2 men sends a 6-year-old to the hospital. Police say shots were fired between two vehicles at Spring and Campbell Roads, and the child was in one of those cars. The child recovering from surgery and is expected to survive. Smyrna police say Craig Calhoun and Eric Rushy are charged with aggravated assault with a firearm from an auto and child cruelty. A Gwinnett County jury sends a man to prison for life for killing a man execution style and leaving another victim blind. 29-year-old Hakeem Williams was selling drugs to the 2 men inside a Motel 6 in Norcross in 2020. Police were able to identify Williams from face recognition software on his girlfriend's social media account. He's found guilty of malice murder, felony murder, and other charges. Israeli bombs hit the studios of Iranian state TV during a live broadcast. The anchor leaps from her desk and smoke and rubble are seen entering the studio. The broadcast then goes dark. Iran has since resumed broadcasting, proclaiming the voice of the Islamic Revolution, and Great Iran will not be silenced with a military operation. And this just in, repairs now complete after a water main break around the Mansell Crossing Shopping Center in Alpharetta. It is now 2:32. This news sponsored by FGA Roofing.
It's Eric, and one of the questions I get asked all the time is, Erickson, where do I get a computer? I don't want to worry about the setup and all the tech support stuff. Y'all, you go to Vision Computers. Call them at 404 Compute. Listen, when you call Vision, you're not getting stuck in a maze of hold music or menus. They answer the phone 15 seconds on average. That's right, 15 seconds. Real people, real help, real fast, right when you need it. And here's the part I love. You got an older computer, you got programs you rely on. Maybe QuickBooks or a niche software for your small business. You're afraid a new computer means losing it all or spending days doing transfers. Vision Computers got you covered. As long as your software is supported in Windows 11, they can move all your programs from your old computer to the new one efficiently, safely, and fast. It's like handing off all the hassle to someone who's an expert and knows what they're doing. So if you're thinking your old computer is fine but slowing down, maybe time for a new one. Call 404 Compute today. That's 404 Compute. Let Vision Computers take care of everything. You're never going to want to buy a computer another way.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
I'm Brian Parks, head of commercial banking in Atlanta for Ameris Bank. I've been in banking for over 30 years, and my team and I know that businesses have the best results when they work with local bankers who know the Atlanta market. Bankers who will work to understand your business operations and bring good ideas to the table. At Ameris Bank, we do that. I invite you to reach out so we can start a conversation. Visit amerisbank.com/yourbusiness or a local branch near you. Ameris Bank, fiercely yours, member FDIC.
At 2:34, Andrew Seco in the traffic center.
Still seeing the delays on the connector southbound are starting to pack in as you leave Georgia 400, 75-85. You're jammed all the way down towards I-20. They're still doing road work in the left lane on I-20 westbound right at the connector, 75-85. That's exit 57. And better news out of the Brookhaven, North Druid Hills area. The crash completely cleared. All lanes back open. Got a nice smooth ride in and out of the area. Claremont Road right there at I-85. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
Hot and humid in Metro Atlanta today. 87 Norcross. It's 86 in College Park and 85 in Emerson. More news at 3 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Always appreciate the opportunity. Thank you for listening to the Eric Erickson Show. You can follow me on the socials, X, and also Facebook at Dan Mandis Show. Got some pretty big news regarding illegal immigration. First, though, I want to play you a piece of audio from none other than Eric Swalwell. And he is, of course, talking about ICE and Donald Trump and how neither belong in their sanctuary cities. Listen.
And I have been completely floored by regular people who tell me this does not look like America. Show your faces. And I think as Democrats, I've heard from enough colleagues that when we're in the majority, when it comes to ICE enforcements, we are going to require them to show their faces for the safety of every American. But also, if you're not doing anything wrong and you're standing on the law, you shouldn't have anything to hide.
You know what's so funny? Eric Swalwell saying, and by the way, we'll get into the doxing of ICE agents. But you know what's funny is that the Democrats, they've always got the same talking points, right? So over the weekend, I noticed a lot of these Democrats, and during the Los Angeles riots, they kept saying, oh, this doesn't look like America. Oh, these ICE agents, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, the reason it doesn't look like America is because you've got all of these Mexican flags that are flying in Los Angeles. And, oh, by the way, they're burning the American flag. So it gets so incredibly frustrating. Now, as far as Swalwell and the left and all of this screaming about ICE agents in masks, well, you know what I noticed? I was telling you earlier about how I went out to the Nashville protests here the last couple of days. Do you know what I saw out there? Yeah, you're right. I saw a lot of masks. I saw a lot of these protesters running around in masks. And you know why that is? Because they don't want to be recognized. They don't want the police to come after them if they ultimately end up breaking the law. Now, the reason why ICE is wearing masks, and Tom Homan and other folks there within ICE have said this for a long time, the reason why ICE is wearing masks is because the left and people like Hakeem Jeffries and Eric Swalwell, they've been screaming that ICE agents need to be doxxed. And they've already got a dangerous job, and the Democrats want nothing more than to make their jobs more dangerous. Meantime, Donald Trump is ordering ICE officials to ramp up deportation efforts in Democrat-run cities. So a number of things have been going on with illegal immigration. First of all, you did have Trump on, I think it was Friday, right? Was it Friday? Where he said, you know what, we need to protect the farmers and we need to protect hospitality. So we need to carve out room to protect migrant workers who work on farms and hospitality. And then I guarantee you construction is going to raise their hands and say, well, what about us? And so that's going on. And that, by the way, has caused a big divide within the conservative movement. because there's the folks that are out there saying illegal is illegal. And if they are here illegally, then they got to go. No nuance, no conversation, no exemptions. Everybody's got to go. But I do believe that, because I've spoken to them, I do believe that there are farmers out there that will tell you that they need their workers, foreign or otherwise. Yes, even if they're illegal. And by the way, this whole thing is fixed very easily. Do you know how this whole thing is fixed? By fix the broken visa system. Fix that and you fix your problem. So what Trump needs to do, Mr. President, if you're listening to the Eric Erickson show, I'm a knucklehead fill-in. But my very humble suggestion, fix the visa program and then give all of these folks who are migrant workers, who are here illegally, if they're working on the farms, if they're working in hotels, hospitality, construction, fix the system and get them to re-up their visas. Get them to pay taxes. I'm not talking about, a pathway to citizenship. I'm not talking about that. But what I am talking about is doing something to help these industries. Because the reality is, as much as a lot of you and me want to see the bad guys go, I also do understand that there is a need for certain workers in this country, illegal or not. Because I do believe that there are jobs in this country that American citizens don't need to do, which happen to be perfect for migrant workers or illegal aliens. But this has been a conversation, this has been something that has really divided the conservative community. And I get it. It's right up there with no more foreign wars. Oh, we have to help Israel, right? I mean, there's two things that are going on right now that are dividing the conservative movement. The Trump supporters, MAGA world. Number one, do you agree or disagree with Donald Trump on targeting Democrat-run cities, but helping the farmers in the more rural areas? That's number one. And number two, the situation with Israel. But I'm here to tell you, and I'm going to go ahead and start finish where I started, where there's big news in Israel today. I think that in Iran, I think Donald Trump has done it. I think what Trump did, I think he outsmarted the lot of them. I do. Because Iran has now come to Israel and said, you know what, we're ready to negotiate. Okay, you're ready to negotiate, Iran? Are you now? Because you're getting your tails kicked. And so this is big news. Because I think that Trump, you know how, and I'm a Trump supporter, you know how people say of Donald Trump that he's playing, three-way chess, three-dimensional chess or whatever it is. And I think that's what he's been doing with Iran and Israel. Because the big news story of the day is that they have now come to Donald Trump and in Israel, and they're saying that they do want to negotiate. Trump was asked about it. And this is part of what he said.
Have you heard any signals or seen any messages from intermediaries that Iran wishes to de-escalate the conflict?
Yeah.
What have you heard? What have you heard from the Iranians?
They'd like to talk, but they should have done that before. I had 60 days, and they had 60 days, and on the 61st day, I said, we don't have a deal. They have to make a deal, and it's painful for both parties, but I'd say Iran is not winning this war.
Nope.
And they should talk, and they should talk immediately before it's too late.
Yeah, I love how the Wall Street Journal puts this. Iran has urgently signals it is open to negotiations to end the hostilities so long as the U.S. does not join Israel's attack. Officials are now telling the Wall Street Journal. So when I say that Trump has been playing three-dimensional chess, here's what I mean. is that he has been out there and he has been saying, the last 24 hours or so, maybe we will join the battle with Israel against Iran. I mean, Trump has been saying that. But at the same time, he's saying it's not too late. We can still work out a deal, which I think is a monumental mistake. And so Trump has been sort of, I don't know, mind gaming the Iranians, because he's been saying, we might go and fight with Israel. And so then Iran is like, oh, crap, we need to do something. And Trump has been really angry with Iran because they have been slow walking the negotiations so that they would give up their nuclear ambitions. And Trump finally said, screw it. Initially, as Israel was bombing the first time, Trump was like, all right, so this is not us, and we have nothing to do with this. However, we do respect Iran's right to defend itself. I should say Israel's right to defend itself. That's what Donald Trump was saying about Israel. And then slowly but surely, he started going down the road of, Israel has every right to defend itself. We like what they're doing. We stand by Israel. And now it's we may go and we may fight with Israel. And so what Trump is doing is he's trying to get Iran to come back to the negotiating table. That's what he's trying to do. And so that statement that you just heard President Trump make, where he's playing hardball, as he should. Now, in case you missed earlier in the broadcast, I vehemently disagree with President Trump on this. You don't negotiate with terrorists. You don't. Oh, by the way, all in this war theater, President Trump has sent a bunch of warplanes and warships to the Middle East. Daily Mail and others reporting that President Trump is sending warplanes and ships and all kinds of manpower, all kinds of military to the Middle East. And so now Iran is freaking out, and they're threatening to close the Strait of Hormuz, which handles a ton of trade. 20% of the world's oil flow that goes through this body of water, which, again, would impact oil prices. So nobody wants this to escalate. But I think the more that you watch how Iran is reacting to President Trump and the things that he says, and now they're coming back and they're saying, please, please, let's talk. I like what Donald Trump said. They had 60 days. They slow-walked that conversation. Now they want to come in and talk. And part of what's going on, I was talking about the conservative debate going on over whether or not Donald Trump is going to join in the battle with Benjamin Netanyahu. Now, first of all, just so you know that I know, we are helping in defense. We are not helping in offense when it comes to Israel going after Iran. If Iran is attacking Israel, then we try to shoot down those drones, we shoot down the bombs, whatever it is. But we don't go on the attack. But this is the other thing that is dividing the Republican Party. This is the one thing that is dividing the conservative movement, MAGA world, if you will, is Donald Trump actually coming out and saying that he might join Benjamin Netanyahu in battle against Iran. And so you've got all these people on the right that are saying, oh, this is going to be another foreign war. And I totally get that. I do. But please remember that Iran is funding terrorism. And who knows who they've been able to smuggle across our wide open southern border when Joe Biden was here. And so you could very easily make the argument, and by the way, this drives my Nashville audience nuts, because I'll argue both ways. And this is one of those topics, one of those issues that America and the Republican Party is facing, where I can absolutely argue tooth and nail that we should be helping Benjamin Netanyahu. We should be helping Israel, and it is to our benefit to help Iran. But you know what else? I can also make the argument the other way. There's no way in the world we should be helping Benjamin Netanyahu. I can make the argument both ways. For his part, Netanyahu, he was on with Bret Baier on Sunday, and he's got a lot of really good reasons why he is preemptively striking Iran.
Because we were facing an imminent threat, a dual existential threat. One, the threat of Iran rushing to weaponize their enriched uranium to make atomic bombs with a specific and declared intent to destroy us. Second, a rush to increase their ballistic missile arsenal into the capacity that they would have 3,600 weapons a year, new weapons within 3 years, 10,000 ballistic missiles, each one weighing a ton, coming in at Mach 6, right into our cities, as you saw today. And then in 6 years, 20,000. That's no country can sustain that, and certainly not a country the size of Israel. So we had to act. It was the 12th hour. We did act.
Yeah, and here's the thing as it relates to Iran. They're always threatening. They're always funding terrorism. They funded and helped execute the horrible attacks on October 7th. Part of what's going on here is that, and I did mention this earlier in the broadcast, prior to October 7th, Benjamin Netanyahu was caught napping. And while he was playing nice with the Palestinians, they were plotting with Iran this horrific attack that killed over 1,200 Israelis. He doesn't want to get caught napping again. In the mind of Netanyahu and Israel, Iran, they've got a gun pointed at their head, and they had to act. But now the big debate within conservative circles is if you are pro-Benjamin Netanyahu, then somehow you are a warmonger and a neocon, which is, of course, what I would say is a conservative slur. And if you are for staying away from this whole situation, well, then you are an isolationist, which is also a conservative slur. So Republicans and conservatives, MAGA world, they've got a lot to talk about regarding Iran and Israel. However, this all may be a moot point because it looks like Iran is begging to come back to the table, which is exactly what Donald Trump's plan was all along. My name is Dan Mandison for Eric Erickson. We'll return next.
Vision Computer would love to be the place where you buy your next computer. Now, listen, let me talk to those of you in Connecticut, for example. You're up there. Vision Computers is in Atlanta. It doesn't matter. Vision will work with you. They work with people in literally every single one of the 50 states. And they can take your computer. They can take everything off your computer, move it to the new computer. As long as it's Windows 11 compatible, set it up exactly the same way. The extensions, the preferences, the macros, everything. So when you get the new computer back, everything is exactly as you had it set up before, except it's newer, it's better, it's faster. They work with you to customize the computer just for you, not for everybody in the world, but your computer. Call them at 404-COMPUTE. Tell them Eric sent you. You're going to save some money. Go to visioncomputers.com. Again, they work with people in all 50 states. And if you just need their tech support for $199 a year per computer, you can get their tech support. So if you ever have a problem, you call Vision Computer, and in 15 seconds or less, you get the answer to what's going on with your computer. You're never down for time with your Vision Computers. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com.
You're at the intersection of politics, news, culture, and current events. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
252 in the Coolray Carrier Traffic Center. Volume in and out of the heart of Atlanta, 75, 85. North and southbound, seeing the brake lights from 17th Street down to I-20 both directions. And look out for those cones blocking the left lane. On I-20 westbound, you are slow back towards Moreland Avenue, and they are popping up right at the downtown connector, 75, 85, exit 57. This report sponsored by Stone Mountain Park. See the same exact fireworks show July 1st through the 7th at Stone Mountain Park. All new fire drones plus the light show and fireworks finale. Tickets at stonemountainpark.com. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
It's the only way to do any kind of reform of the federal government.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
I don't remember it.
Eric Von Hessler. Today at 3.
Who are you speaking for?
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Joel, it's Eric. I know some of you are concerned about tariff prices impacting things in your lives, including kitchen remodels. Well, listen to this. You can book an appointment this month with Frugal Kitchens and get the Frugal Price Lock. They will lock you into pre-tariff prices. All you got to do is Google Frugal Kitchens for details, and they're offering 0% financing. You want your kitchen remodeled. You want to add value to your home. You're worried about tariffs. Here's your opportunity. Google Frugal Kitchens. Start that kitchen redesign today.
Are the effects of diabetes, prostate cancer, hypertension, or high cholesterol robbing you of your ability to perform in the bedroom? Choice Men's Health can help you eliminate ED and get your bedroom performance back in just one visit. Choice Men's Health offers breakthrough treatments for ED and performance issues in the bedroom to help you regain your confidence and give you back the intimacy with your partner. Call Choice Men's Health right now to make an appointment and find out how you can eliminate ED on the first visit. Popular name brand pills like Viagra and Cialis don't work for everyone and can have serious side effects. Choice Men's Health custom medications work immediately, even if you have a medical history or think you're too old to perform like you used to. Choice Men's Health can help you have a fulfilling sex life again. Call Choice Men's Health today at 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170. Once again, that's 404-400-1170.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hey homeowners, it's Eric Erickson. You wouldn't trust Mac with a jack to fix your home's sinking foundation problem, would you? I certainly wouldn't. Serious issues need serious experts at Engineered Solutions of Georgia. Their skills are unmatched, so are their foundation solutions. When these guys repair a problem, it's the last time you'll have to worry about it. Done once, done right. Start today with a free inspection. Go to ESOGrepair.com. That's ESOGrepair.com.
Dial 678 ESOG now.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. If you're over 50 and tired of your wireless bill getting higher and higher, there are 4 things to consider. 1, how much data are you really using? As we get older, we use less data on our wireless phone, but you're probably still paying for an unlimited plan that was designed for 20-somethings. 2, if you see Get a Phone on Us, get your sneakers out and run the other way. No one is giving you a free phone. You are paying for that phone over time with an overpriced rate plan and a long-term commitment. 3, check the fine print on that $15 a month plan. It's probably an intro price that'll double or triple later. You might even have to pay for several months of service up front. Number 4, be aware of cable company wireless plans. Most of your usage will be on Wi-Fi instead of 5G, and your calls and battery life could suffer. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable, nationwide service without the big wireless bill. Our plans start at just $20 a month.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
You may not agree with him, but he tells you the truth. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
All right, so earlier I was making fun of the Democrats because they all stick to the same script. Now, you remember this guy, this senator?
Sir, hands up, hands up. I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the Secretary. Because the fact of the matter is, a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your.
So they of course drag, you know the story. They drag Alex Padilla out of Kristi Noem's press conference, and now the Democrats, they've all received the same notes about what they're supposed to say about Senator Alex Padilla. He's mild-mannered.
And anyone that knows Alex Padilla knows one thing about Alex Padilla. He's one of the most mild-mannered, decent people you'll meet.
I know Alex Padilla to be among the most mild-mannered of colleagues.
And Jamie is right. He is very mild-mannered. He's not the type of person who would necessarily do this.
People who may not be familiar with Senator Padilla, he is one of the most
mild-mannered.
So in case you didn't catch that, Alex Padilla is mild-mannered, and it's crazy. This is what the Democrats do. They get a talking point, and they all stick to it. My name is Dan Mandis. Appreciate you listening to The Eric Erickson Show.
WSB consumer expert Clark Howard.
I am so frustrated. The legislature did such a good thing by trying not to have people priced out of their homes across Metro Atlanta by property tax increases. But they only went part way and allowed local governments and school boards to say yes or no if they were going to give us tight property tax caps, like many other states have. And so what are